everybody, and welcome back to another Nextlander podcast. Hello, June. Hello, cold in my head. Hello, Alex Navarro.
Ironic that it finally became warm outside, but it became cold in your soul.
It's always been cold. That's my secret cap. It's always cold in my soul. Brad Shoemaker.
Hi, greetings.
Warming my soul, Brad Shoemaker.
Yep,
How are you
that's
doing?
right. I'm fine. It's a week for things to happen.
Yeah, what is happening?
There's a lot going on.
So before we start this show, I got a couple of things I'd like to say, teeing that up. If the machine works correctly, this should be a light week in terms of releases and news, because people would want to hold those releases and news until after the not E3 stuff, right? You want, hey, we want to control the media, we want to control the message, we want to do all this stuff. Turns out, with a Switch 2 launch, people at the rumor mill just twiddling their thumbs. There's nothing to rumor about it anymore.
Right.
The Switch 2 seems to, at the time of this recording, is populating the internet. Twitch channels are popping up with Mario Kart World, and the video game universe seems to be just rolling along.
Dude, released consoles are so old news.
Yeah, right.
Let's just start saying the words PlayStation 6 over and over.
I'll start with one thing that's not in our news section, but I thought was funny, but it's not worth putting in a news section. Did you see and sorry, my brain's going to be a little foggy today, so I'll need a little help for the names of these things. What is the one, the thing that's a tech demo that's not a tech demo? For the Switch 2, the thing
Welcome Tour?
Yeah, Welcome Tour. You need to have some of the peripherals to 100% that game because some of the mini games in it require things like the camera or a 4K TV, obviously not a peripheral. And I forget the USB grips. You need the ones with the back buttons on it to 100% the game and get all the medals in it, because some of the mini games require accessories or other things in the Welcome Tour.
Imagine if that was a free piece of software. That might not be such a big deal, maybe, that you have to have expensive peripherals to get 100% of that thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was a silly thing. I might be getting some of the details wrong, but it was probably the most new news I saw for the Nintendo Switch, that I was like, oh, people have tried this now, and it seems like they're like, oh, you could pretty much play everything in it, but these three little things in it, you might need other stuff, which I thought was cute.
It's just out there.
It's just out there.
Twitch is rotten with Mario Kart World streams right now. Like, people are just posting photos of their boxes full of Switch 2 stuff that just came in the mail. Like,
as it should be. Our long national Switch 2 rumor nightmare is over. People have it. Now we get to start the part of, whose Switch has a loud fan? What Switch 2 weird issues are there?
Whose Switch 2 is DOA?
Yeah, what's going on? Who's got a dead pixel? What's the dead pixel count on these? What's happening? Drift on a stick? I'm making all of this up. I haven't seen any of this yet.
Where are you guys at on dead pixels?
Where am I at with? Where am I? Like,
I don't like them.
Like what's my tolerance?
You unbox your Switch 2 and there's just a big fat dark pixel right in the middle of the screen. How are you feeling?
Well, that's a problem for me.
Look, pixel density is smaller, right? So like,
true.
It's so it doesn't stand out as much. On an unbox, if I notice it like a black screen and there's a white pixel, or a white screen and there's like a black pixel there, new Switch, I think I might try to get a return. I might try to bring it into a physical location and say, but are they going to be able to give you one?
Probably not right now.
Yeah,
probably not.
I don't know.
My single data point is I saw like I don't even remember who this was or where they're at, but somebody said their local GameStop was getting like 10 units in just to sell off shelves. Today.
I've heard that as well from other places.
It's just like a small handful in some stores that were not allocated to pre-orders.
Yeah, I'm sure the Targets and the Walmarts will have some allocation of units as well.
Yeah, my biggest question at this point is how fast it restocks. Like, not only for my own sake, but just in terms of like gauging demand for this thing,
which would be high.
Yeah, but also, like, I feel like this is, again, a self-selecting crowd, but, like, a lot of people I follow have been extremely into this, like, I guess a new console is coming out this week, like, there's a lot of people that feel like they're just sort of, like, sleepwalking into this launch.
Well, yeah.
And I wonder if they actually burn through the, like, white-hot demand very quickly and they actually start restocking faster than you think.
I mean, again, having a game lineup that is Mario Kart and also Mario Kart might be a thing where people feel a little more compelled to just wait and see how that library starts to fill it out over the next few months.
I think that's probably a big part of it.
Especially, I'll say for the teen set, none of my...
Tell me about the teens.
To teens, you know me, and I'm like very hip with the teens.
Yeah, I'm always saying that.
According to my son, nobody is talking about the Switch 2. And I said, well, what do you think is going on there? He said, well, there's no Smash. There's no Smash Brothers. And he said, well, everybody's playing Mario Kart on the Switch already. So, I don't think that level, look, I'm not saying they're ignorant of what's going on. I share the sentiment with them of like, yeah, I guess when you need to have somebody buy you another Switch, right? Like when you're just like not disposable income or something, going in on that stuff. One of my son's friends is playing freaking Mario Kart on the Wii. The Wii got the steering wheel and the
Wii Wii
for the Wii. Yes, for the Wii Wii. Brad Shoemaker.
Not even the Wii U Wii.
Adult
like
Brad Shoemaker. Thank you very much.
I'm just trying to clarify here. You're talking like the Wii, not the Wii U, like the Wii Wii.
No. You keep saying it.
It's spelled with two I's. It's totally different.
I don't think the Wii U anybody has a Wii U.
Where do you even find one of those now?
My Wii U still hooked up and under my television.
Yeah. Well, I think does your Wii U pad ever have battery issues? I haven't turned mine on in a long time. I don't know.
It's been in a box for some number of years.
Okay.
There was some weird thing with like the storage corrupting on Wii U's if you didn't turn it on for a long time or some weird thing like that.
Heaven forbid.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yes, Switch 2 is out there. We'll talk a little bit more about that probably in the news there when we just get to what's going on this weekend in the broader world.
But I say there is one housekeeping note I did want to mention here at the top. If you were listening to our podcast last week and you happen to be in one of the Latin American territories, I think we owe a very slight apology. It's not our fault, as it turns out, but turns out some ads from ICE appeared on our podcast.
Oh, yes.
Without our knowledge. These were part of the programmatic ads. They were airing in Spanish-speaking territories, apparently, and basically the content of the ads was, don't cross our border illegally.
I think I saw some other people, even from Canada, maybe got some of those. I will say thank you for notifying us. You should always do that if you hear stuff like that. And our ad partner did go and take them down immediately.
Yes. According to them, they said the ad was miscategorized. Whether that was done purposely or not, who can say? But let's just say that is not an ad that we would have ever approved of hearing on our podcast. So please, if you ever hear anything like that again, feel free to reach out and let us know.
Definitely. Someday when we get a website, maybe we'll have an email address just for advertising. But
for now, podcast at nextlander.com will work just fine.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. And our apologies.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting out there, this morning I had my heart jumped into my throat, and it was not just because of Switch 2 excitement. On the walk to school today, usually when we walk outside, we walk the dog, and Kirby, super great dog, usually winds up hanging out on the porch while we all get ready. We get the leash on him and go take him for his walk. For some reason, like we've been in the backyard, squirrel war number 15 is happening outside with our peach tree, and like sometimes I will be like, Kirby, let's go get him, and like run around, chase the squirrels around, right? And he's great. He'll just hang out. He doesn't care. But as soon as you say like squirrel, go get him, and he'll just take off, right?
Oh yeah, my parents have a whole like code language to use around their dog.
Yeah,
you can't say the word squirrel or some bad things will happen.
Right. So like, but probably totally fine until you say it, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of Kirby, and it's kind of amazing. For some reason, my daughter today was like, "Hey Kirby, look, a squirrel!" When we were outside in the front porch. And he took off after the squirrel in the front yard. And our street gets very, very busy with cut-through traffic for the bridge and the school.
Oh, no.
And like my voice is gone. So I'm like, Kirby! I'm like, Kirby! And he just bolted. I was like, what are you doing? Thank goodness he just chased him up the nearest tree and did not run into, because he would have just gone right through the street. Kirby was fine. Squirrel also fine. My daughter
maybe a little scared, but otherwise fine.
Kirby was fine. He didn't care. My daughter was like, "Oh my gosh." I think she was mortified. She was very like, "Oh my, I'm so sorry."
I mean, sometimes you don't think about it. You know, you're just like, it's like, hey, a squirrel. Hey, the dog would like to see a squirrel. Oh, shit.
Yeah. Not doing squirrel. Maybe he won't be in our cherry tree much longer.
Yeah.
I will say, cherries, they're about to go pop. They're about to turn red. We're going to have some nice cherry pie coming up and a full tree. We usually, the cherries, we get about 25% of them after the birds and squirrels. So my wife makes tiny little cherry pies, like tiny ones. Which is
making
really
a pie out of fruit from your yard.
Oh my gosh!
Who would ever
American
hear
dream?
Such a thing?
I know. Maybe this year we'll get a cherry. I don't, or a peach. I don't know. They're usually all gone by the time we get to it. Speaking of things being all gone by the time you get to it, Elden Ring Nightreign.
I was trying to figure out, okay, how's he going to segue from fruit trees in the yard to Elden Ring Nightreign?
Speaking of things that take more than two people to do, you can have it's hard with one, impossible with two.
Speaking of things that are conceptually great, but maybe not as accessible as you would like in execution.
Speaking of things that rot when they lie on the ground for too long.
Jeez Louise. Okay, well, that's a little harsh. We're talking about Elden Ring Nightreign, the multiplayer Nightreign speaking of things that, boy, you better be ready to move quickly to accomplish your goals.
What a weird thing that game is. I have played a shitload of that game since Friday. I did not expect to like it as much as I do. I also did not expect to hate it as much as I do at times.
So we did play this last Friday for the Patron's Choice, our loaded Patron's Choice poll, where Nightreign won. Brad, sounds like you went back in, played a bunch more of it. Solo, 3-player, what'd you do?
I have not done a solo. I meant to do a solo run. They patched it over the weekend, or like maybe early Monday morning, I think. I meant to do a solo run before that patch came down just to see how utterly broken and brutal it was, but I didn't get around to it. And then also have not played a solo run since the patch, which made it easier.
So I've only came out was the balance adjustment?
Yeah, it's I forget exactly what it did. It gives you more runes in solo mode and maybe more item drops, and it gives you like a free revive on bosses and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I've been playing it entirely with randos on the PS5.
How is that?
Because I'm on the PS5 and everybody else I know is on the PC, and this game shipped without crossplay, and I doubt they will ever add crossplay, and that is a fucking crime in 2025.
That kind of is a crime. Yeah,
it sucks. I am because I'm pretty deep in. Like I've got both of the extra classes unlocked. I've got like a ton of drops at this point.
What's the other class? Because the first one you get is that sort of like ninja-y lady that you meet in the hub area. What's the other one?
The Revenant, I believe. She's like this ghostly lady that summons monsters to fight with her.
Okay,
basically, and she's like another kind of magic user sort of
your class, you know.
Yes.
Well, we should maybe back up or hold this thought. Hold wherever you are in your head, Brad, for a second. You got it locked in there?
Yes. Okay. Kind of.
We should explain the way Nightreign works for folks that aren't that interested or haven't kept up.
It's like they took Elden Ring, all of its assets and map and mechanics, and turned it into a battle royale, but not against other players, only against the boss, or like boss. It's like a boss rush battle royale, basically. It's like
with some of the trappings of a battle royale, like an encroaching circle.
Yeah, there's a straight up circle.
There's a circle. You have to stock up on items. And in this case, you also need to level up your character to a certain range if you really want to have like a fighting chance against the bosses.
Yeah, so you go
you go in at level 0 on day 1. 3 players ideally, but it sounds like single player might be a little more viable now.
Yeah, so there's no duos, we should say, no crossplay, and no possibility of playing with 2 people. You have to match with 3 or play by yourself currently. They do say that a duos mode is coming later this year. And
it's kind of class based, so you basically pick a class. What is it? 4?
There's 6 out of the box and 2 that you unlock relatively quickly after you start playing.
And so each class has its own powers. They have kind of a basic power move, an ult, and that's kind of it, right? Then
it's like one regular character ability that recharges like every 20 seconds, and then your ultimate ability that takes like 5 minutes or something.
And so you jump in, 3 players, let's just say ideally, jump in there. You start leveling up as much as you can. Bonfires basically just pop as soon as you walk next to them.
Yeah, and like every time you kill a boss, a bonfire spawns at their feet. Like they kind of want you leveling all the time.
They want you leveling all the time. In the meantime, there is a limited map which you can explore and try and grind as many levels as you can before the circle closes in enough where you have to fight your first day boss. You do that, you make it to day 2. Do that, you make it to day 3, which is where I think you fight the actual mission boss. Right?
Yeah, day 3 is just, so you do that loop twice, and after you beat the day 2 boss, you basically warp straight to the day 3, like the full actual boss.
Okay. And then if you die, you are done. There is reviving, but
the revival. Wipe, this game has the most insane revival mechanic I have ever seen in a video game. Just gonna pause for effect there.
Okay.
You attack people to get them up, like when you have a death bar, let's say.
Yeah.
You have a life bar for when you're dead. When you're down but not out. Not dead, but like when you're down and revivable, you have a bar that gets longer every time you go down. It's 3 segments. It starts at 1 segment, and every time you go down, it adds another segment. And people have to attack you to whittle that bar down to get you back up, which would all be fine, except that like 3 seconds, if they stop attacking you, like 3 seconds after they stop, that bar rapidly fills back up again. Like it's
not only that, if you take a hit from an enemy, the bar goes back up.
It goes right back to where it was.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so if the boss is like wailing on top of you.
I didn't know that.
Or at least that's what it seems. It could just
that
be
is
the
what
bar.
it looked like to me.
It's possible that it was just filling back up over time because it happens so fast.
So yes, your death style determines your res style.
Yes, that's basically that's
because once you, especially with certain classes, once you're at like 3 bars to knock down to res, it can be really hard.
It's not easy with like 1 bar.
I've had some of the lowest lows I have had in a multiplayer game. First of all, playing with this game with randos can be okay. It is often frequently incredibly fraught, but on top of that, I've had some of the like lowest moments trying to kite like the final boss around for like 5 minutes or more, trying to dodge the boss and hit my 2 down teammates, like being the last one up at the end of like a 30+ minute run, trying to get my 2 teammates up and dodge the boss, and just like that dance over and over and over, and then you finally take 1 too many hits and you die without ever being able to get somebody up. Like it is just the worst feeling.
And again, just to paint the picture, you have to basically continuously keep hitting, otherwise that bar goes up almost immediately.
It's really hard to, especially when they're at 3 segments. When it's a full bar, it is extremely hard to get them down. I'm at the point where I'm only playing the archer right now.
Okay.
Because it feels like you have to have an archer on your team, because the archer can just sit there wailing on people from range with their bow to get them up.
Right.
And so it's like, it's not exactly a free revive, but it's way closer. I mean, if you're the last one up, even as the archer, the boss is just going to go straight to you and you're still in trouble, but it does make reses way easier. Like magic users, similar, anybody with ranged attacks.
Yeah.
And like, you could, even as melee classes, you could prioritize like trying to get your hands on a bow just to be safe. You could use stuff like that, but like the matches are so fast.
Yeah, you're leaving that up to chance essentially if you do it that way.
Well, so I've learned something. This game has a whole codex to dig into, and I finally started looking into it. And like, there's a shitload of depth in here that you can learn, but none of it is apparent off the top. Like out of the box. Like the tutorial is like unbelievably anemic for this game. Like it tells you nothing about what's unique about this. Like the tutorial feels like it's made for people who've never played a Souls game. It's like, here's how combat works.
I mean, maybe even lighter than that, because it doesn't even go into some of the Souls stuff. It's almost like if you've never played a game where you push attack or strong attack.
It's like the tutorial by and large is just about, here's how to do basic combat. Okay, go nuts.
There's a double jump. Go get it.
They tell you almost nothing, right, about the actual battle royale aspect of the game.
Right, yes, because we didn't even know about the circle until we were in the match.
I didn't even know there were not other teams of players in this game until we got in there.
Yeah.
But the thing I was going to say is all the locations on the map, like, there's different types of locations. There's like tower, fortress, town,
church,
cave, church. The codex tells you every single one of those has specific types of things, like preset. So like caves always have upgrade stones for your weapons to get your weapons to like +1, +2.
Okay.
I'm trying to. I can't think. Churches have flask charges. That's the big one that you have to know off the bat because you only start with 3 flask charges. But it's like, hey, if I want to upgrade my weapon, I need to go to a cave. If I want to get sorcery stuff, I should go to this type of location. Right. One of those locations has a map you can get that will reveal a bunch of hidden stuff in the area for you to go find, like buffs and stuff. So like
same map every time, right?
Yeah, it's basically the same map, but all the bosses are randomized all over the place. Around. Yeah. So like, if you get to know the map and those location types really well and you get very efficient and you are playing with people who are just as good as you are, like you could kind of dictate how you spec out, but the circle closes so fast, you just have to go. Like you have to know exactly what you're doing. There is coordinate. Coordinate. There's zero room for like farting around trying to figure out what to do because you've got like, I haven't clocked it, but then there's no in-game timer, but you have got a spare few minutes to level up before you have to haul your ass to the first boss.
All right. Brad, you have that lock thought in your head, or did we address it?
Actually, one more thing I was going to say about the speed of the game. I really enjoy, the Souls games are like pretty plotting and meticulous, let's say. They have a reputation for being, you can play nibble characters, but generally have a reputation for being like quite methodical, right?
Deliberate.
Like, I love that in this game, they basically at some point were just like, okay, the speed of these matches is going to necessitate some more player mobility.
Yeah.
So they give you unlimited fast-ass sprint.
You book
like, you could probably, like, absent the circle, because that constrains where you can go, but if there was no circle, you could probably run one corner of the map to the opposite corner in, like, 5 minutes. Like, you run so fast in this game, and there's no stamina cost for sprinting outside of combat. And the other thing is that ridiculous wall jump.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not your typical wall jump where you jump into a wall and then jump sort of perpendicular to the wall off. You can just sit there hammering the button and essentially jump straight up a sheer cliff.
It's ridiculous.
Like you do have to hit little ledges along the way. Like it does require some amount of like footholds to get you up, but like you're kind of just running around scaling cliffs everywhere because there's a ton of variation in the terrain. So you kind of have to do that to get places, but they basically just were like, fuck it. Let's just let them run and jump everywhere constantly.
It is not a, oh man, you see the top of that plateau. How are we going to get there? It's like, no, we're going here or we know. Yeah. And no fall damage.
And also no fall damage. That's the other thing. You can jump from like kind of like startling heights and be fine. Like it's a weird thing to get used to in a From game.
That was maybe my favorite little realization we had during our stream of it was us just like sort of walking up to the ledge, like, can we just jump down there? Can we just jump down there? And then we just jumps like, oh, there's no fall damage. Fuck it. Let's go. It's
like jumps from a height where it's pit of your stomach. Like I feel like butterflies when I jump from that high, but you just have to do it and go.
Now, that all being said, the game seems fairly like, from what I played, and Brad, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it playing with other random people or not, or playing with more advanced people. It seems fairly manageable, maybe up until you get to the boss, in which case then you really have to start focus firing on one boss, or if there are multiple enemies there, or we made it to the day 2 boss, didn't make it past that, but you can really just think you're doing okay and then wipe on that boss.
Did we not get to the actual boss?
No, we only got to the day 2. No,
I could have sworn we did.
No, we didn't get to day 3.
We didn't warp straight to that.
Getting past the day 1 boss was our target goal through most of that stream, and we only did it toward the end.
Okay, so I guess where I'm at is that I've got a kill on that first final boss, Tricephalos, or in the game from the menu they call him Tricephalos. In the game is like Gladius.
Okay.
And I don't know if these are all. I played like 20 hours or so of Elden Ring, but it's certainly not anywhere near all of it. I don't know if every single boss in this is from Elden Ring or if they made new ones for this.
I did not recognize the bosses we fought, but there are a lot of bosses in Elden Ring.
Yes. So. Yeah. I would hope
the enemies I did. The bosses I did not.
I would hope they made some new ones, especially for these final, like the day 3 bosses. Anyway, I've got at least 1 kill on that first boss, which then unlocks what I assume is the rest of the bosses, or at least another, it's either 6 or 7 more bosses open up after that first one.
Oh my gosh.
And I have gotten to 2 of the other bosses, but I have not killed any of them. They are so goddamn hard, dude. Like when we did that Dark Souls 3 co-op mod a few weeks ago on stream, I went into that going like, this is just going to like trivialize the Souls combat because those bosses are all tuned for focusing on one player at all times.
Yeah. That
is not the case here. Like,
I don't know if it was the case there either, but
maybe not. But here it is just goddamn, man. Like some of those bosses are so fucking. I don't know how else to belabor the point without just saying it over and over. Like it is brutal out there.
Yeah. Well, at least when we played, maybe things get different when you play with people who know the maps better, like you were saying, but you're just so squishy. You just can't tank a lot of damage. So, even though the boss might be focused on another player, if you catch one, you may go down in 1 or 2 hits depending on your level.
That's exactly it. Most of those last bosses so far have been a 1 to 2 hits and you're dead. And so in some cases they have the classic souls, they'll grab you in their mouth and thrash you around, and that's like an instant kill from full health type stuff.
Oh, and the ones that we played, and I just suspect this is mostly Elden Ring bosses and stuff like that. They have those attacks that do I've got a 45-degree arc in front of me, 45-degree arc in front of me, and then this 360-degree attack that just will hit anybody who's trying to hit me in the butt with a sword. Heads up, you're gonna die.
Or the one I did last night is this moth and scorpion pair where you kind of can't damage the scorpion because it's armored, and the moth is the thing you have to kill, but it's in the sky all the time.
Oh, I don't remember that.
But occasionally the moth will ride on the back of the scorpion.
I mean, it sounds kind of fun.
It's the boss fights look incredible. I'll say that, and the place they take place is pretty neat looking. There's some nice art in this game for sure, but goddamn, those things are hard.
I saw some folks asking how far we had gotten, maybe on the Reddit or another thread somewhere, how far we had gotten because they were worried about maybe spoilers or story stuff. And somebody said, no, we didn't get far enough for story stuff. Have you seen story stuff?
There's definitely, you can talk to all the characters in the hub. This has a Souls hub, just like everything else.
Which you don't share with the other players, which is kind of an interesting choice.
Yeah, when you party with people, you don't go into each other's hub, which is kind of a bummer. There are cosmetics in this, though. I don't know how dramatically different from the default outfits they are, but you do apparently, looking at the trophies, you unlock a dresser at some point.
Okay.
And I rolled with a Revenant last night that had long hair that seemed like they had maybe gotten some cosmetic stuff, but
the characters, the NPCs, give you some different dialogue.
Yeah, you kind of. Most of the class, the player characters that all hang out in the hub don't have a lot to say.
Okay.
Although one of them becomes a playable character, your kind of ethereal lady who's introing everything turns out to be playable, and she has a little more to say.
Okay.
And it seems like she might be setting up some further unlocks or something. I'll say this, for being a multiplayer game, it feels like it's still got a lot of the hidden, Souls style mystery, the FromSoft mystery stuff. You know what I mean? It's you're unlocking memories for each class, and I haven't started messing with that at all yet. I'm not sure what that stuff is about.
Interesting.
There are quests to do occasionally in matches that I think are class specific that I haven't picked up any of myself.
In the course of a match?
Yeah. Apparently, because I saw in the tutorials, it is this icon is for your active quest, and I've never had a quest before, but apparently there are quests you can get.
Right.
And a crew I was rolling with last night clearly knew what the fuck they were doing, and one of them booked us to a boss in a specific spot on the map, and when we killed it, it said objective achieved or something like that.
You think it was for one of their class?
I think it was for one of them had a quest to go do, and so they dragged us to go kill the boss with them. But so there's class quests I don't know anything about. There are world states that can happen.
Oh no! Back to
after
Demon Souls.
After kind of after I got that first Tricephalus kill, it introed the concept of there being world states, and the one that set in was called Shattered Earth or something like that. But it made it sound like there's going to be a bunch, multiple different permutations of the map, because in this case, and the tutorial was these world states will persist for several expeditions or until you rest in the bed in the waiting room.
Okay.
So you can kind of you can go sleep if you want to stop having that. But in the case of this Shattered Earth one, there's a giant ass fissure right through the middle of the map that was this huge deep canyon into hell, basically.
Huh.
Where you'd jump way down and it was all this magma and bosses and stuff down there. You kind of just ripped the map open, and that went away after 4 or 5 expeditions.
I wonder if anybody who joins your game gets that world state, or if you join anybody else's game, do you bring that world state into their game?
I don't know. I would assume it's probably only matchmaking among people who all have that active at the same time.
Wild. What if I joined your game as a friend? You think it would go away?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how that would work, actually.
Yeah,
maybe you would get brought into the host's version of the world. I'm not sure. There was, then the other... There's also random world events that are now starting to happen. There's 2 things. There are mutated versions of locations, because there's, I said, there's church, fortress, spell tower, blah, blah, blah. Those are starting to have like this weird storm over top of them, and they look different on the map and things like that. So it's like different versions of the locations that are built into the map. And then also I had a fucking world event happen last night that made me never want to play the game again, which was all of a sudden it was just like a plague of locusts is gathering. And like the sky got all dark, and all of a sudden these like fucking swarms of locusts just randomly started spawning all over the place. And they steal your levels.
Ooh.
I lost 2 levels before I realized what was going on. And again, levels are everything in this game, and you have no time to make them up if you have lost them. But it took me a minute to figure out what the fuck was going on. But every time you got caught in one of these little spontaneous swarms of locusts, you straight up just lost a level. And I was like, what is going on in this game?
Was there any plus side to it? Like you can gain
no plus
extra levels? Or?
Here we are with a new FromSoft game. I'm out there Googling, like, what the fuck does this mean that just happened? And apparently the Locust Storm, if you watch where, like, kind of a pattern of where they're gathering, if you follow that, you'll get to, like, a Locust boss that spawns.
Oh.
And if you kill that boss, you'll apparently get all the souls back for the levels that you lost. But I had no idea about that in the course of, like, this was close to the end of a run. Like, the circle was gathering when this happened.
No, you didn't have time to go just investigate that while in your 5 seconds before the circle.
So I just had to roll into the day 2 boss down 2 levels, and with not all my flasks recharged, and of course we lost. So it's just disheartening.
What a weird game.
It's weird, but for the problems it's got, and again, like not being able to play with friends unless I switch to PC is like a real fucking problem here. It's still very compelling to me.
Yeah.
In a way that I am kind of shocked by.
Yeah, there's a concept here that I greatly admire. Like, I appreciate the idea that if you're going to do this kind of like asset flippy game, make it something that is like wholly alien from the thing that you are pulling the assets from. Like, this does not play like Elden Ring. This does not have, it has some elements of Elden Ring that are familiar, but it is very much its own thing. And I respect that. I honestly do. I love the idea of just following that up by saying, no, we're doing this fucking multiplayer thing because presumably we tried it out and thought it was cool. So we just turned it into a game. That said, I think the things that are holding it back have very little to do with the core design and element of, like trying to do something different here, and more just like, this is just punishing in a way that is frustrating, not in a way that like feels like learnable. And like stuff like the locusts that you're talking about, that's the stuff you can learn. That's the stuff that you are supposed to experience over time and experience and just develop strategies for, versus not being able to do crossplay and that just fucked up res mechanic. I cannot stress enough, that is the only mechanical thing that I think is genuinely fucked up and probably needs to be changed in some way.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of thing, if you had a regular crew that you were playing with all the time, you could kind of spec around it and plan for it and account for it. But in rando games, it's just catastrophic. Like, I've had matches go so bad so many times with random people because of that stuff.
So we should probably mention the roadmap for Nightreign, which is I think you mentioned already. Duos is something they want to bring in.
Yeah, roadmap might be generous. They tweeted a couple times. They haven't put out like a full on, like, here's a big infographic of everything we're doing, but they did say a duo mode is coming. Enhanced fights against existing Night Lords starting this month.
Okay.
So whatever that means, because the game definitely just needs to be harder. That's what I'm looking for, is more difficulty.
And you said they kind of patched in a balance mode for single player.
They've been balancing aggressively, at least on the single player mode, and maybe some in the kind of trio mode as well.
But nothing about crossplay, yeah?
No, I'm not expecting it. I frankly don't think it'll ever happen, which really bums me out and makes me think maybe I should just move to PC.
Well, there's also no cross save as far as I can tell. So
even that would be fine. Like, even that would be it would be better, I should say.
Right. So that if you did want to move to PC, you could at least take some of your progress with you, because there are runes you take with you as permanent progress.
Yes, it's full on kind of roguelike style drops of randomly generated items that you equip on the different classes.
Yeah.
And I've got a bunch of those racked up at this point. I think it gets somewhat better. The skill level of people you're matching with definitely is higher once you beat that first boss and you're doing advanced, the more advanced bosses after that. But I'm still occasionally getting people that are like, no offense to those people, but are really fucking up our runs.
Well, what are you gonna do? But for a run-based get-together game, do you think the matches are too long or too fast? Because the pace is fast, but sometimes the matches feel long.
Yeah, you're right. It is. There are absolutely cases where I wish you had an extra 5 minutes per day before the circle starts strangling you. But also, yes, like even with as fast as it is, by the time we wipe on a boss, because again, I've wiped on the day 3 boss with like a third of a health bar left multiple times. That's like 30 plus minutes.
That's a heartbreaker
or more.
Yeah.
So it's especially because those boss fights can go at the end.
And you do get some rewards, obviously, if you're not going to beat it every time when you wipe.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
hopefully that balances out a little bit. But interesting concept.
It's like a testament to how compelling it is in total that I'm this into it despite its problems. So I would hope maybe those problems will get a little bit more alleviated. But the biggest problem again is I just need to play with people I know who I can talk to and coordinate with.
Yeah,
because there's just an in-game ping system,
right,
to communicate with if you're not on voice chat. And at this point, I just follow the other players wherever they're going to go because they are not going to follow. Like everybody's going to do their own thing in the rando games. The only way to like have any team cohesion is to just follow them because you can't guarantee they're going to follow you.
This is probably a little out of scope, but I almost and I know things are randomized a bit, but okay, what I'm thinking of is a completely different game. But hear me out. Something like a Nightreign where the run is seeded, right? So like, there's a seed that drops and other players in other games are getting that same seed and you can see their ghosts, right? You can see echoes of them running the map to see what they're doing in terms of leveling up if they all had the same seed. Because
sure,
Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Demon Souls have the idea of the blood stains and kind of, learning from other players. And I feel like this seems to lose a bit of that. I know you are playing with other players, but you can get separated so easily.
There is one way that other players from other runs show up in your runs, which is that occasionally their corpses will spawn in there, and you can loot everything they had on them when they died.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's fucking crazy. I don't know what spawns them. Like they show up as like these red corpses.
Really?
Like red tinged versions of what they looked like in their game.
Do you think we ran across any of those?
We might have seen like one. I'm not sure. I've only seen 2 or 3 of them total, but straight up run up to them and just all the gear they had just comes spewing out of them. It's crazy.
That's wild. That's cool.
It's kind of neat. The last thing I'll say about it is that like, I feel like when they announced this, a ton of people looked at it and were like, that's not what I want from Software.
Yeah.
And I am rapidly coming to realize like maybe this is very much what I want from Software actually. Yeah. And in particular, it has really made me go back and take another look at the Duskbloods, which is that Bloodborne looking multiplayer game they are doing for the Switch 2 exclusively. And thinking like maybe I might actually be very interested in the Duskbloods all of a sudden because I didn't think I would like Nightreign this much. And
I'm not as sold as you are yet. I think, but I am the one who wants like this is my Bloodborne thing, right? Like that fast paced, go get 'em from soft action is not what I like. I do like the kind of more tedious, deliberate paced action. And Bloodborne always to me was like, no, you got to get in there and counterattack or you're going to. And I forced myself in Elden Ring to play a class that had to do that. But this game moves so fast.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the fast pace and the variety. That's the other thing for me, there are so many, like I have basically almost never found the same weapons twice. Like occasionally I've found the same bow when I'm playing the archer class or whatever, but like every run is so different in terms of what you find and which bosses you run into that like it's different every time, which is fun.
That does seem fun. Yeah, I think if I had a set crew to run with all the time on the regular where you can learn the maps, that seems to me like for me the ideal way to play, right? Like,
sure.
Like 3 people are just learning how to tackle this boss.
Yeah. I've got to, after I get back from LA, I need to get a crew together for this somehow.
I think for me, ultimately, what this comes down to is I just want them to do more experimental things like this, whether it is this specific application or not. It doesn't really matter. I like the idea of FromSoft just getting out there and being like, hey, we're going to take our most successful game ever and we're going to turn into this weird multiplayer thing, whether it works or not, and just see how it goes. And I think that to me says FromSoft is all right. They're going to be all right, whether this game is great or not.
It's time for multiplayer first from Software to come back. Like between this and Duskbloods and the homebrew Xbox 360 community working their asses off to get Chrome Hounds working again, which I don't know if you've seen that.
I did, yeah.
They have made the first like major progress in getting Chrome Hounds working online in 360 emulators again. Like it's time for multiplayer FromSoft.
It's time for 7 out of 10 FromSoft.
FromSoft is going to make another single player Elden Ring.
Well, of course they are. They'll make another single player.
They will make another big game.
Yeah, of course. No one's saying don't do that.
Oh, no, I'm just saying they know where their bread is buttered.
Yeah. I don't know what are Elden Ring sales figures at this point. Have they said like are they probably past 20 million?
Somewhere between a whole lot and a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wikipedia says they're past 30 million on Elden Ring.
Yeah,
so
I believe it.
I think they will make another one like that kind of. But this game has sold 3.5 million already since Friday. So
yeah, we should mention this is not a free game. This is a $40 game. Yeah.
And if they've already sold 3 million copies of this, maybe they were right to not just make this a multiplayer add-on to Elden Ring. Maybe they actually had a good idea for themselves in mind there.
All right, that's Elden Ring Nightreign. That came out just recently here, a couple of days ago. $40 on everything but the Switch 2 so far. Like we said, Brad said, there's that. What's it called? Dustborn?
The Dusk Bloods.
Dusk Bloods. Dusk?
Dusk. Yeah, Dusk Bloods.
Dusk Bloods. Is there a date on that?
Do they say it's this year? I don't remember. Let me see.
Sure.
I thought I remembered that being of this year.
Next year.
Okay.
Oh, it's next year. Okay.
All right. Elden Ring Nightreign. Let's take a quick break. We got a couple of other games to talk about before we head into our news. So we'll talk about after the break. We'll talk about those after the break. Stick around.
This week's show is brought to you by Factor. Brad, Vinny, these are the going outside months.
Says you.
Says this ad copy, and I am inclined to believe them. It is spring, summer is nearly here. You want to be outside, at the beach, in your yard, wherever it is people who go outside go. I don't know, but the thing is, what you don't want to be is stuck inside having to make food.
Well, if I'm outside, okay, Alex Navarro, if I'm outside, how am I going to find the time to eat, okay?
Well, Factor might just have you covered on that front. They make extremely fast and easy to prepare meals that all you got to do is shove that stuff into an oven or a microwave or whatever you got, and within a matter of minutes, that food is ready and piping hot for you.
Or not. I think you could eat it cold if you wanted.
Yeah, that's an option.
Unlike Alex Navarro, I am not here to police your summer activities. I say you can eat Factor cold if you like.
But I want nutritious and delicious food.
Benny, Factor has you covered. We've had Factor before.
I have had Factor before, and I will tell you what, when I look in the fridge and it's lunchtime and I'm like, man, I just don't got a lot of time, and there's that little Factor meal in there, it's like it makes my life a little better. Makes my life just a little bit. And you know what I need in my life? Just a little bit of happiness.
What you need in your life is a little bit of Factor. Factor meals arrive fresh and ready to eat, as we have already said. Perfect for any active lifestyle or a sedentary one. Doesn't really matter. Summer, beyond. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick gourmet meals that fit your summer gains and goals. Choose from options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. Factor will power your day sun up to sun down. So do you want to get in on this?
I'm willing to give this a try.
Well, then what you need to do, Vinny Caravella, is go to factormeals.com/Nextlander50off. 50, the numbers, followed by OFF. And use code Nextlander50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That is code Nextlander50off at factormeals.com/Nextlander50off for 50% off plus free shipping. Factormeals.com/Nextlander50off. Thanks, Factor.
All right, we are back. We got a couple of other things to talk about here. The demo for the game Date Everything!
Which is out later this month.
Yes, that game gets released later this month on the Switch, PS5, Xbox, PC. But right now there's a demo out there, which is a pretty deep demo. At least it'll give you a taste of what's going on.
I heard it's like 90 minutes at least if you try and plumb around everything.
So Date Everything, on its surface, you're kind of more traditional dating sim game. I'd say once you get in there, though, the story revolves around you as kind of this recluse working from home who gets fired fairly quickly from their crappy job. But you wind up with a mysterious you wind up getting a mysterious package that includes a pair of glasses. When you put the glasses on, they begin talking to you. Felicia Day begins talking to you. Playing a character, I forget. I don't know. She's the sunglasses. She's the glasses.
Specs, I think.
Specs, something. Turns out, with these glasses on, you can interact with all of your mundane household items and turn them into hunky, horny, beautiful, busty,
pillowy
avatars, avatars within your house. So you can go talk to your door, for example, one of the first characters who becomes Dorian, the kind of confrontational. They
like
take
a bouncer type.
Yeah, I think it's fun to. It's fun to get the personification of these objects, right? Like, the door is a bouncer who is now dressed in door apparel, kind of.
Like, I would describe the way these characters are drawn. It's not the same art style, but like there is a sort of Hades-like element in the way that they sort of deck the people out in the accoutrement of like their associated objects, and then all of this is voice acted.
I see. These are like personified, or like these are actually.
These are
beings.
hot people.
These are human beings that spawn from these things. You're not talking. I was just envisioning like a door wearing sunglasses or something.
No.
I would also be okay with that, honestly. But like the way they do it here, these are hot ass people.
Also, I don't know how you started with Dorian and not Scandelabra.
We didn't get to Scandelabra.
We did not encounter Scandelabra.
What was the toilets guy's name?
It was like Jean-Loup Pissoir.
Jean-Loup. That's right.
Yeah,
Jean-Loup.
That's pretty
Pissoir.
He is a
Crapper the
French
rapper.
Okay.
Yes. Wears a plunger on his head, and so the game has a sense of humor.
Well, it has to.
Yeah, and your character is very funny because it's again it is kind of in the mold of a dating sim. I have not played a ton of dating sims, but
just imagine like They Live, but instead of the They Live glasses, you've just been handed glasses that makes everything fuckable, and like you're just like rolling with it.
Yeah, your character is kind of just like, hey, when do we make out?
Okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'll just build these relationships with all these various objects. Why not?
Right. You can talk to your bed, which is a little awkward. Talk to the ceiling and the floor have a weird dynamic. The ceiling runs the place. The floor is kind of the secretary.
Is it still objectification if they're actually objects?
It's a weird. You're living in a weird world.
Well, yes. I mean, clearly.
Yes. I mean, look. Nobody should be objectifying Teddy, the lovable teddy bear that you can.
I don't know. Teddy seems like he might not mind. I can't really tell.
Teddy seems very cool. The cookies seem like an ass.
Yeah, the cookies are a dickhead. I did enjoy the last one we met, which was literally the sex toy you have in your nightstand, voiced by Erika Ishii.
Oh,
the cookies are a dickhead.
The cookies are a dickhead.
I just want to highlight that phrase.
I would say the whole shaft. Yeah. The sex, was it Benoit was the
yes, Benoit is the sex toy, and it is literally this person decked out in a variety of different sexual toys you might find at adamandeve.com.
Yes, just the
they do not sponsor the podcast. I'm not giving free promotion here.
And that is when the glasses comes up again. I think I'm pretty sure voiced by Felicia Day comes up and is like, hey, now's a great time to mention the content filtering you could do in this game if you need it or want it. A lot of the people here might have things that might cause some discomfort in the player. So if you want that on, let me know. Anyway, have fun with your sex toy here.
It's a dating sim. I'm sure it gets into some, occasionally dark material. These games usually do. But again, everything is fully voiced. Like there is a wide voice cast here. Mostly seeming to be Matthew Mercer's friends. But everything is very heavily voiced. Like all these characters, it seems like there's a real story playing out for all of them. That seems to be the draw, I think.
And something like 100 voiced different characters in the game?
I think so, yeah.
Seems like this is played entirely for like humor and lightheartedness and not like, because when you were like, oh, you're somebody who loses your job and then start falling in love with household objects. I was like, is this like kind of like a dark metaphor for
it might
something?
still be.
I mean, it could go there, but so far everything we've run into is a little more on the cheeky side, let's say.
I did actually find, I think the only thing I wasn't super vibing with was kind of that intro thing with like you getting fired and like the AI jokes. Like it's, I get it. Like the AI replacing the jobs thing is going to be probably the predominant narrative elements we see in a lot of video games for the foreseeable future. It's just, it's done in a cheeky way that isn't really that inventive. It's just kind of, ha ha ha, anyway, we've replaced you with AI, bye.
Okay.
And it's just, it maybe goes on a little long for how not actually that funny it is.
Like I wondered, at first I wondered if this was going to turn out to be some kind of like parable for modern alienation or something.
I'm sure it is. But as soon as you start meeting the object people, I feel like it just kind of gets into gear, and I was like into it.
I'm kind of with you. The stuff with the computer wasn't that engaging, but the stuff with I was going to say inanimate, but very animated objects.
You're animating the inanimate.
And the art style is very fun, and just I think the discovery of what is this, like you said, Brad, was it Scandelabra? Like just because you get the glasses and then you can scan like 5 objects a day or whatever it is. Like just having fun discovering who these characters are.
Yeah, like just the translation of a household object to like embodying a household object in a character and like what traits like that seems like a fun art challenge.
Yeah, and they have again the personalities that seem to be trying to match, though the cookies, again, the snacks were not that sweet. They were kind of an ass. So we'll see how that goes.
No rude snacks, please.
Yes, please. Just only delightful snacks. I'm trying to think of anybody else we saw. The floor, the ceiling, the bed, the teddy bear, the toilets, quite a number there. The door.
We got through a decent number.
Yeah. And then we saw some other
mommy.
ones we saw some other ones coming to the ceiling mommy with problems. So there was that whole thing too. The liquor cabinet, right?
Yep.
Well, that is date everything. That game is coming out June 17th. Demo is out now. $30. Seems kind of fun.
And it seems substantial. Like, if you're into these kinds of games, it seems like the amount of voice work certainly is pretty substantial.
Or even if you're not into these kinds of games, maybe this guy might get you there, because it seems...
Get you through the door.
Yeah, the Dorian.
The Dorian, yeah.
I've been putting a bunch of time... did you guys hear about this game, Clair, Obscur, Expedition 33?
No.
Heard of it?
It's this game, little known game. It's very good. It's a very good game. And I'm up to a part before this podcast where I had a character, the poop is hitting the fan, let's say. I guess I'm trying to describe where I am without spoiling it too much. I'm in a fight. I have the full party, or at least I got the trophy for having the full party of playable characters, and I'm in a fight in front of a mansion. And that's about all I'll say. And a character said to me, was confronted with some news, and the character said, "We'll just get into it after this fight." So I just then got into, I'm in the middle of this boss fight. I died twice on the boss fight, and then I had to put it down because I had other stuff to do. So that is where I'm at. I'm very excited to get back into it. That game continues to be extremely good. That game, the character that I just got also has a very cool mechanic for their, each character has a different battle mechanic. This character has a very cool mechanic. I want to see where the story goes. I have like 17 different theories on what might be happening here as we go through. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. I just want to keep playing that game. Every time I get a little intimidated, when I take breaks and I haven't been back in a while, I'm like, man, it's been a day or two. I'm just going to have forgotten how to play this game. And then as soon as I get back into it, I'm like, I'm the best at this game. There's no one in this game who has played this game as well as I play. I have figured out how to break this game. I can kill, but the combat is one of those things where in the overworld, basically in the action world, not the turn-based part, you can get first hit, you can, and then you could launch in the combat and you'll have initiative. You'll have a priority initiative. If I don't do that, I might lose the battle immediately. If I do that, I might beat the battle in one go.
Huh.
It's one of those things that, I love that about it, because there's really no reason I have found not to get that first hit. If you're paying attention, it's pretty easy to get. The characters don't like sprint at you or anything like that. but I have set up my characters in such a way that it really depends on me doing my turn order, like out of the gate there. And sometimes if I get hit or throws it off, it might throw my whole thing off, right? If I didn't parry well enough. And now the parries are getting harder. There's like 4 different types of parries going on. And oh man, it's just so good. When everything hits, there's one character that just kind of revolves around you being good at the game. Like their whole mechanic is like, all right, how good at this game are you? And it's just like, I'm not that good actually at this game. So it's a lot of fun. I can't wait to see where that bit of the story goes. I've seen some people talking about the end of this game in not a disappointing way, so that makes me, I don't know what happens, but they don't seem to be like, it kind of falls apart at the end. So
that said, I have heard some comments about that final boss.
And that it's easy. It's too easy.
Yeah, definitely too easy. That is definitely the feedback I have seen from people. So good luck with that.
Great. There are so many different builds in this game. I can't imagine how you can tune the final boss after you've gotten so much stuff.
That's probably a good thing. Like I would much rather have too hard of a last boss than too easy of one.
Sure.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Again, the difficulty curve has been, if you are good at the systems in that game, I can't imagine how anything is difficult, because you can parry, dodge, or reflect back almost every single hit in that game. So there are boss fights you can get through, I'm sure, without taking a lick of damage.
Great.
If you are good enough in that game.
I'll remember this and I'll check in with you when you get there.
Yeah. So I'm saying I'm not that person, but I'd like to be. I'd like to be that
Perhaps
person.
one day.
Every time I get to a new area, I'm like, oh my God, all the characters here are ridiculously hard. And then after
like
about
just random encounters, not even bosses, just like straight up enemies on the field.
Yeah, because you really have to dodge or parry stuff, right? So like if you don't know the attacks and what's coming up, like you're sunk, right? Like you're gonna get smushed against the wall. But by the 3rd or 4th time you fight them, you're like, okay, I see your pattern. I know what attacks are coming up. And when you parry all the attacks, you hit them back and you can kill them in one hit. Or sometimes, depends on what the attack is. So if you learn their attacks and you can all the buffs and stuff you can get like plus AP on a parry. You can get plus 2 AP on a parry. You can do all this stuff on parries. And then you get these other super parries where it's just like, man, if you hit that, you wind up getting the super hit, or like how much risk reward do you want on this stuff? So if you're reading the enemies well and you're good at the timing in that game, you can cruise through those fights. I am not cruising through those fights, but sometimes I'm doing pretty well.
That's little cruising happening.
That's why I have to have my strong offense at the top. That's why if I get that first initial thing and I can get all 3 of my characters to fire off their attacks before the enemy goes, let's just say that's not obscure. It's transparent. I don't know. It's whatever. It's good. It's a good game. And every time I get into it, every time I take 2 days off or whatever, and I get back into it and I play even for an hour or a half hour, I'm reminded how good the music is in that game. All the fight music is very good.
If you're not burned out on the combat, like if you're not avoiding random encounters, if you're still enjoying just encounters with fodder enemies, like that's like the big litmus test for me for this type of RPG. Because like definitely a lot of the ones from the 90s, like in the back half of the game, you would sort of in the ones you could avoid random encounters.
I think you'd
be like skirting around the enemies, because it's like I'm kind of over this combat except when I have to for bosses. So like for me at least, if you're like still enjoying the combat every time it comes up, that's a pretty good sign.
I mean, it is one of those things where you can skirt around them. Yeah. I usually
it's Chrono Trigger style, not Final Fantasy style. You can see the enemies on the map before you engage with them.
And I'm still gaining levels at a clip where encountering or engaging with the enemies is worth it to me. Like I haven't hit that part where it will take me 1 billion low level encounters. It's like, like 3 or 4 encounters, I'll gain another level. That's worth it to fight these scrubs. Hopefully, I don't know where I am in the story. It's somewhere in Act 2. Again, it's outside that mansion fighting a dude. We'll see where I wind up, if I get to Act 3 or not by the next time we talk. Hoping to play a bunch more. I've got a really busy night tonight and day tomorrow, but this weekend on Saturday, I might have some time. We're looking to put a lot of time into it. Just want to get back in. And then you won't hear me talk about Clair until it's the game of the year, and then
I'll probably hear about you talking about it.
You'll probably hear me talk.
I was looking at the back half of the year yesterday on the Planorama.
Yeah,
there might be some time later this year. Maybe I will check that game out later this year because there sure isn't much on the schedule right now.
You guys will all be playing Death Stranding too.
True.
Yeah.
For the rest of time.
For the rest of time.
There is that.
For folks, I'll just mention briefly here before we bounce out of here. In the what else you've been doing? I am just hovering around not finishing Hollow Knight at this point. I have finished the DLC, the Grim Troop DLC. I have nothing really left that I want to do except finish that game. I just need to go fight the Hollow Knight. That's it. It's a weird thing because I've enjoyed my time.
The
boss? Spoilers. Are you the Hollow Knight?
No. Am I the Hollow Knight? No.
I don't know. We'll find out. My son and I'm ahead of him, and it's like one of those things where I've done so much in the game. I don't want to finish it. It's just, I've just got this one last thing to do in it. And I'm just like, okay. And finished everything else I want to finish. I did not do there's like a boss rush thing, which I'm not going to do, but, yeah, that's my Hollow Knight. And then the other one that Alex and I think both share is Assassin's Creed, and that's just molding away.
Still plugging away.
Yeah, for me, it's just molding away in a drawer.
I've still got like 2 or 3 whole regions in that game I haven't even been to yet.
Somewhere there's an Avowed that I will play.
I'm not waiting on this, so don't think that's what I'm saying here, but I have started to wonder now how close we might be to a PS5 version of Avowed.
Oh my gosh.
Probably closer than we think.
Like, again, it's not like I've just got other stuff going on. I don't have time to get back to that game right now. I would like to play more of it, but like it does make me wonder. The PS5 Pro version of that game might be pretty nice.
Yeah.
I wonder how maybe that's, who knows? I know absolutely nothing.
My running plan right now is to finish Clair, finish up Hollow Knight just on the margins there, wrap up Assassin's Creed, and I'm telling myself I'm just going to go mainline that thing. I think I'm done farting around in there, and then back up into Avowed at some point.
Okay,
that is my going plan. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes.
Too many games, man.
It's too many good games.
No, I mean it's a good problem to have, but
yeah.
And again, let's hold on to these right now because the back half of the year, we don't know.
It does kind of make it tough to finish longer stuff. Like FBC Firebreak is out like a week after I get back from LA, and I really want to play that. And then Death Stranding is like the week after that.
Yes,
it's like there's stuff right now.
There is stuff, but in the wintry months, we'll see how it goes.
Yep, there's still just a giant GTA-sized hole around September.
Yeah. Well, and then going into November and October, we'll see. Ghost of Yote, Directive 8020.
Yeah.
We talk about it in a Planorama.
Yes. Would you like another sprawling open world game set in ancient Japan?
I don't know.
Are you talking
this
about
year?
Shinobi Art of Vengeance?
I don't know.
Yep. So yeah, we'll see. But anybody else have anything they want to talk about before we move into the news? No, as you're shaking your head, they can't hear you shake your head. So I'll just describe it. You're both shaking.
It's not rattling around up there.
No, not yet.
Clonk, clonk, clonk.
All right, we're going to take a break here. We're going to come back with the news, which again, I'll say, with all things working correctly, things seem ship shape and tight in terms of leaks coming out of Summer Game Fest. Not too much. So we'll talk about what is out there and what's going on with Summer Game Fest in just a little bit after this break. Stick around. All right, we are back. And like I said before, the news is pretty wrapped up. Okay. I'm of two minds about this, right? First mind is, wow, they're doing a really good job keeping a lot of these games and stuff leak-free this year. This ship is not leaking a lot. Second one is, maybe there's not as much to leak this year.
Yeah, that seems possible.
As we get ready, as we come in. So we got a couple of things going on because this weekend coming up is Switch 2 and Summer Game Fest. Summer Game Fest, the thing that has pretty much taken over the summer E3 events, where a lot of places roll up into their press coverage, or they used to traditionally, let's say. On the Switch 2 front, we mentioned before, Switch 2 is out there. People have it. People are posting videos of Mario Kart out there.
Yeah, it's like Twitch is rotten with Mario Kart World streams as we speak. People are posting photos of their, like, hey, I got my shipment. It's mostly press people right now. getting theirs from Nintendo for review. We did not make the cut for a review unit, sadly.
No.
The point I'm making is I don't think retail, like people who actually pre-ordered for money units, are out yet. I think the first of those shouldn't arrive until Thursday. Although I think people who pre-ordered for pickup in store actually are getting it Wednesday night. I think I saw people saying like people on the West Coast are able to go get theirs at 9 p.m. on Wednesday night at retail.
Yeah. Oh. For those keeping score at home, I did not do store pickup. I did shipping. And so as of right now, Best Buy is telling me it will ship out tomorrow.
That would be Thursday as the time of this recording.
Yeah, which means that I should get it on Friday, but who can say?
Yeah, it's crazy how many of the pre-orders are like, I know somebody I follow pre-ordered at Target who's not getting theirs until next Wednesday currently is what it says. Like, it seems like kind of a spread.
So yeah, our plan for the Switch 2 stuff, whatever form that takes, is to stream Alex when he gets his, and sounds like maybe it'll be Friday at this point.
That's my guess.
Yeah. So we'll probably have something in the afternoon. But any other Switch 2 stuff to talk about before we move on to the rest of what's happening this weekend?
Not really. It's just like I said, it's just this morning. It was the morning I woke up and started seeing photos and videos and stuff like that day one patch hit, for example.
Yeah.
So like people who have gotten a hold of it can actually use it now. So it's like today is the day. This is Wednesday that we're recording this. Today is the day that it feels like it's all actually happening.
And it's probably worth mentioning, since you did bring up that some outlets are getting Switch 2s today, or at least receiving them today. There were no early Switch 2s. We brought this up before.
Yeah, we talked about this like 3-4 weeks ago now. Like the word had kind of leaked out that they were not going to send them out for review, but it's like fully official at this point. They didn't send them to even like the highest echelons of media early for review.
Yeah.
So there is no advanced comprehensive review coverage of this thing, which I don't remember the last time that happened for a console.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that one what was it? Was it the Saturn that was like, hey, it's out today?
Oh yeah, like Saturn was the surprise launch at E3, famously. But
so I honestly, I think that's probably the last one I can think of that was a major console and not just some like. I don't even remember. Did we get Ouya's early? Like, did any of that shit come in early?
No, I don't think so.
Could you imagine what? All right, look, I know there's probably someone out there, but look, we're all adults here who have bought consoles and people listening to this. Can you imagine the world where they'd go out early to press and they're like, Mario Kart World's all right. And then people are just like, fuck it, I'm canceling my Switch 2 pre-order.
Yep.
It's not worth it. I think
that Mario Kart 64 GameSpot review looms large many years later.
What did that get?
6.4.
Ooh.
God, did it really?
Yes.
Ooh.
Who did that?
I don't remember. It might have been Ryan.
I think that was before his time.
64, you said?
Yeah, Mario Kart 64. Trent Ward, okay.
Trent Ward gave that a 6.4. That's, I don't know. I'll withhold judgment on that. They instead of sending them out for review, they had like select press in for like another round of previews. And I have seen some people speaking very highly of Mario Kart World, particularly like the open world aspect of it.
Oh yeah, no, it seems like people are buzzing about it.
So that seems cool and everything.
All right, there's plenty of video out there if you want to go watch it.
And that again, that day one patch, like the system update that enables use of the console is live now because the thing is out in the first territories as of now. So like people, if you get your hands on it, people can use it. I still wonder how much them withholding consoles until launch had to do with their fears around emulation and piracy on top of everything else and leaks.
Yeah.
Like because the Switch 1 was so compromised, I wonder if they were also very skittish about all that stuff.
Maybe we'll never know.
I don't know.
But the Switch 2, we're again, our plan's probably Friday. We'll have a thing. It seems like.
Sorry,
Yes.
I'm skimming the Verge's like roundup of Switch 2 micro news as we speak.
Is there still more breaking?
More games are getting free updates than had been revealed previously. More than the original 12. Mario Wonder is getting an update. Apparently, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are getting free patches to run better, in addition to the paid upgrades, which make them run even better.
That's just a weird system, man.
Yes, totally.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It's really strange. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Pikmin 3 Deluxe, like a couple of Kirby games, like more games than they had previously said. I wonder if that was a like, here are the 12 we know for sure we can confirm are happening at launch.
Sure.
And then maybe they got some more of these updates ready but didn't want to publicize it.
Yeah, and these are as far as you know, these are patches, not just brute forcing it runs better.
These are actual updates to the
optimization patches.
Yeah.
Well, you, Brad, probably or definitely will not be on our Friday Switch stream because you will be headed to Summer Game Fest, which is also happening this weekend.
Yes, indeed.
Alex and I will be streaming the Summer Game Fest stream. I don't know exactly what they call it on Friday at about 5 p.m. We're going to start a little early, probably about 10 minutes early there. So join us at 4:50-ish on Friday to take a look at all the games they're going to have during 2 hours ish of
roughly
of stuff there.
If you had to guess.
But no Ubisoft this year. Sony. So no Ubisoft. That's a big one because Ubisoft
every year.
2 reasons. One, does not miss a party. Ubisoft does not miss a summer.
Even when there's nothing for them to party about, they have never missed a party.
The second one, yes.
Launch.
The console launch, they usually smother a console launch in ports and especially Nintendo consoles. They will be like, how is there no Assassin's Creed Switch 2 version on its way at launch for the Switch 2?
I think Mirage is coming, right?
At some point, I think, but
I think Mirage may have been on that list, but that's not the one you want to play.
That's not what people are asking for. No.
No Ubisoft Forward this year.
Nope, not this year. Sony didn't have anything until about 24 hours ago when they announced they will have a state of play, and that is actually at the time of this recording tonight. So that is happening there. Microsoft will have something on Sunday.
That's their big showcase.
So they are still going to be there, and I think that's for the console makers. Nintendo's
launching a console. They have other things going on right now,
and they wouldn't be there anyway. They just don't.
They might do some. If this were a normal year, they might do some kind of
direct, like a small direct,
like before or after the show. But that would be it.
Yeah, I would guess this Sony thing will be pretty low key. Because they're calling it a state of play, not like they typically PlayStation Showcase was the branding they would put on the bigger streams in the last few years, and they announced this the day before, basically, and it's just
so short.
It's just a 40-minute state of play, so I'm guessing this is probably fairly low key.
Yeah, and we'll I don't know what'll be at it. Maybe some marathon stuff, maybe some of that.
Actually, marathon might need a little time in the hopper.
Microsoft and Xbox, they'll probably have maybe they'll show some Fable stuff, maybe some Gears stuff, maybe some unannounced stuff. Their big thing is going to be Outer Worlds 2, but I think they're having a post showcase thing on that.
Xbox continues to have a bunch of games that have been announced for like 5 years and never seen, like Everwild and State of Decay 3.
You think those will make an appearance?
Maybe. I would hope at least one of them. I mean, Fable, I'm sure Fable will be big and the Gears thing will be big.
Does anybody show Silk Song at their I
don't know.
It was at the Switch 2 announce thing. Yeah. That was the last proof of life. So there are a bunch of other showcases around this time. Tens of them actually. You've got all of the PC stuff, the PC gaming show. You've got the Future Game Show. You've got all the kind of specific ones that I think are actually tied into Summer Game Fest, which is like the Latin American Game Showcase, the Southeast Asian Game Showcase, the Women-led Game Showcase, Green Game Showcase. There are a lot of showcases. And actually, I was just going to say, if you want specific ones, there's the Death Stranding 2 game premiere happening June 8th. And recently revealed the IO showcase, which I guess will have that Bond game First Light.
Mm-hmm.
So that just kind of got their hand tipped a bit. Not tipped. They announced it. They controlled the message on it. But yeah, more about their James Bond game. Little bit about their James Bond game. I guess
we will see something from it.
It's got a name and a silhouette.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the news here is that they've announced the name of the game. It's 007 First Light.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it.
That's kind of
we got a
picture. The image is fairly telling, I think. I don't know, you zoom in on this, like he's not wearing a tuxedo.
No, and
he's wearing this like kind of high collared, what is that, a bomber jacket or something?
There's a trench?
I don't think there's a trench.
Oh, no, it's like got that wool ribbing on it, right?
Yeah. I don't know if that's a bomber. I don't know what kind of jacket. Alex, any thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Some kind of English leather. Let's say leather with a high collar. I don't know.
Yeah, I had missed that they have been running the hashtag earn the number with this.
Mm-hmm.
Which between that and First Light and the look of the silhouette here that looks like a fairly young dude, seems like it's some kind of origin story prequel thing.
Right.
I don't know. What did you guys think? I'm not a Bond person at all. I like what IO does, but I'm not remotely like jumping out of my seat for a James Bond game. I mean, any thoughts here?
I've seen every Bond movie, despite not necessarily loving, let's just say, like more than half of them. But I don't know. Like the Bond thing to me always made a certain amount of sense for IO because of the Hitman lineage and sort of like the various spycraft and gadgetry things that go along with that. But like, I've never been that thrilled about this game or excited about it. I think they will probably do a good one of these, but the Bond property in and of itself does not titillate me in a way that makes me super excited for this. Now, if they lean into a little bit more of the retro stylings of early Bond, like they don't do the Daniel Craig thing of, it's like Bond Origins, but it's in the modern day. It's sort of a reboot, but not. Like, if they just lean fully into the 60s spycraft aspect of it, I might be a little bit more on board. But I mean, it just nothing about it does anything specific for me other than I want to play the next IO game. That's kind of it.
Well, we're 1 for 2 so far for Scandinavian studios taking some like dashing classic hero and doing something interesting with it because Indiana Jones turned out really well.
It did.
So maybe they'll do something similar here.
And it is possible when you're listening to this, if you're listening to this around the time of release, that you know more than we do because a part of the name reveal is that there's a game reveal this week, or at least that's the text that they have.
I would assume this is out on the Summer Game Fest stream on Friday. It has to be.
Right. Yes, this is going to be part of a not outside of it. Right.
I mean, they're doing that showcase separately, but I'm sure the big like cinematic reveal is probably going to be on the Keeley thing.
So yeah, we'll see what it winds up being. I'm curious to see how IO threads their needle from spycraft and Hitman to the goofiness of Hitman. Hitman.
Like my hunch is that the influence of the licensor means that they won't be able to get away with the dumb shit they did in Hitman.
I just don't think it would work as well. I don't think I want that in this game.
I guess you probably are kind of undermining the whatever gravitas James Bond has,
but
with that stuff,
dude. At the same time, the majority of this franchise is predicated on dude having fucking lasers in his cufflinks. Like, it's not that you can't do goofy shit around it. It's that it just kind of has to feel of a piece with what you know the MI6 goofiness is like baked in.
It was that at one point, right? But like the Daniel Craig era is probably a lot less that, right?
But they also don't know what the next era of James Bond is going to be. Like, that's the thing that they've been like spinning their wheels on, is trying to figure out what they're going to do going forward now that the Craig era is over and now Amazon owns that shit. And how precious are they about any of that stuff?
I think what I would like to see is, and we'll find out very shortly, maybe a little campy. Maybe that's the humor direction they go into. 60s camp, if they're going to go for like a prequel to Bond or something like that. Like, give me the big, bulky, dumb stuff. It doesn't need to be No One Lives Forever, but it's like campy gadgets that are like you just said, Alex, like, oh, it's a pen, be a laser thing, and be like, that's amazing.
I've got a tie that turns into a fucking explosive for some reason. Like, let's go with that.
Yeah, and not like doesn't need to be super serious nanomachine stuff of like a modern Bond where like, you know, we're
find a way to make nanomachines campy. If you can do it, do it.
I'm kind of with you, Alex. I think I'm less in the Bond. What are they going to do with Bond, and more in what's IO going to do?
Yeah, I'm interested in the IO aspect of this far more than the franchise.
Yeah, right. So we'll find out soon, and I think we'll get the tone immediately from how they present.
Probably.
Also wrapped up in this, not directly, but you know, in the summer reveal here, let's talk a little about the Witcher 4 Unreal Engine 5 tech stuff they were showing off.
Yeah, they showed a bunch of the Witcher 4 gameplay.
Okay, like I like The Witcher, I'm a big fan. The Witcher verse is now split into, you know, books, games, and TV show. Mm-hmm. Probably more if you count some animated thing or other properties. I need to check in with some Witcher experts to see where we're at with Ciri, because where I left Ciri, Ciri was very badass, and Ciri had a lot of powers that don't seem to be on display in this Witcher 4 trailer.
Well, you got a level.
Yeah. Is Siri choosing not to use these powers? I don't know. But
I'm sure there's a narrative reason. Like, again, you can't make a game like this where there isn't a character ramp, so they probably have to at least mute some of that stuff at the beginning so that she isn't just walking out and just obliterating everything.
And to be fair, this was more engine demo than it was gameplay demo, but it was live.
Demo.
It was alive. It was somebody running around in the game and riding a horse, which like the horse is the big gameplay detail here to me. Is that what's the horse's name? Kelpie?
Yeah,
Kelp? Was it Kelpie?
I think it was Kelpie.
I think it was Kelpie is the new Roach. Seems like Siri's got her own horse, which cool.
Muscle tech.
Well, not only does Siri have her own horse, Brad, I think what you're getting at is Siri is fused with this horse in motion magic.
Yeah, animation blending.
They are one unit.
Yeah, like I said, this was a lot of this was focused on new Unreal features and how they are working in this game. But at least this game looks good as fuck.
Oh yeah,
it looks very good.
Someone figured out how to make nanites campy.
Nanite foliage.
That's right. All this voxel foliage.
Yep. Which actually seems like a huge deal for performance in outdoor foliage heavy areas. But anyway.
So yeah, well, go ahead, Brad.
We don't need to get too much into the technical end of it. They're really talking it up, but since it's CD Projekt and also seeing how games ship generally, I will believe it when I see it. But they said this was running on a base PS5 at 60 frames per second with ray tracing on. Like, they're talking a big game about how this looks and how it's going to run on modest hardware. So I'm curious. But again, look at how Cyberpunk came out. And frankly, look at how Witcher 3 came out. Like, Witcher 3 was also a very demanding, pretty janky game at launch as well. So, like, I'm not necessarily... I'll see.
Taking them at their word right now.
Yeah, I will believe it when I see it, but also they have changed engines. They are on a much more established engine than dealing with their own at this point. But, like, man, that demo looked really good.
It looked really good. There was some stuff. It was a little odd. A couple of things. One, yes, they definitely had inset shots of people, of somebody holding a controller and walking around. Very old school E3 style demo, right?
Yeah.
But they also had cinematic stuff where the camera zoomed in and revealed the horse muscles at some point. Where you're like, okay, that's definitely not live. Or,
some of that stuff, or it was just built into that demo.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's obviously not the real game exactly, but
yeah. So that's one little aspect of it. Two, there were some parts when Siri's riding on the back of the horse when they were showing off the tech of this kind of, I forget exactly what it was called, but the horse and the rider, kind of horse meet rider, the horse and the rider interact kind of on a more intimate level, let's say.
Yeah.
With the cape did not look good. The Siri's cape was like very stiff and not following the flow of the horse. It kind of looked like it was floating. And I was like, okay,
work in progress.
Work in progress, or like that's not an important detail. I don't know. That's not the thing.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even notice it.
I'm always looking at Siri's cape
again.
But the thing that was very amusing to me during this very old school E3-ish presentation was really triggering flashbacks to the original Assassin's Creed walkthrough of the city, of like almost Siri.
Look at the way Siri's pushing past these people.
Yes. Siri like grazing people and trying to be like, look at how interactive this is.
Look at these apples that fell out of that basket.
Yes. Like all these things could have consequences later on. You don't know. Which was like, man, okay, sure. Like that got me there too. So very old school. I like a good crowd dynamics demo. Of developers getting excited because the world they built, like when they're like, listen to these fishmongers, you'll never sit and listen to them, but listen to them.
Yeah. I mean, no, that's the great stuff. Like that's the shit I come to these demos for, is show me the quality of your animatronics. Show me your fucking Disney town that you are making and how believable is it. And here they've got people just literally negotiating with a fishmonger and talking about, oh yeah, this is the best one. I'll clean that up for you, whatever. Like, having a real conversation. I'm sure there is a limited number of variations of that interaction that can happen, but if there is a decent variety of them, that does lend itself to a more believable and alive feeling world. It's all still going to feel like an open world game to a point, but this is the kind of stuff I love seeing in a demo like this.
Yes, for sure. There is nothing I love more than an interactive technical presentation of a game like this. I understand there are a lot of people that feel very strongly the opposites, but like frankly, nothing gets me going like just seeing technical state of the art displays of stuff like this. You know?
Oh yeah, this is the closest I get to experiencing ASMR, like watching this shit happen.
Or like it makes me think back to that that one-off video I did with our friend Cowboy from Naughty Dog at Giant Bomb with the kind of Unreal or the Uncharted kind of deep dive tech stuff, which I would do stuff like that all the time if it were feasible, but that is very complicated to pull off. But like it's just fun to see stuff like that, like this bit in here where they spawn they triple the crowd size and stuff like that.
And you know, look, how many times are you going to walk through the town and somebody going to get thrown out of the bar? Is it going to be every time?
Yes.
I don't know.
That stuff certainly can start to feel contrived once you've seen it in action numerous times.
But it is a throwback to decades ago when this could be an E3 demo before you needed the very short pop, right? Before you needed the 3-minute video, not even, right? A minute and a half video that is like a full action blown trailer. And it used to be, or I feel like it used to be, you'd get something like that, and then you'd have these guys come on stage and be like, look at the tech. And then press would be like, the tech, write it up, and the press would be like, the tech looks really, really cool. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, no, you get a 30-second trailer, we're moving on. And maybe you'll get a developer diary later on about this stuff that a quarter of the people will watch. So it was cool. It was interesting. And there are people who are working very hard, I'm sure, to make this stuff seem as in the background as possible and make your experience better, like these trees and the voxel foliage. Witcher 4, looking pretty good.
Yes, it looks very nice. Again, I mean, it looks like a Witcher game, to be clear. Like it conceptually, in terms of what you're doing and how it's presented, it very much looks like The Witcher 3.
I don't even know what you're doing. They're riding on a horse through
you're
forest
right.
So far.
Yeah, all they showed was running around in the forest and hanging out in this town. We didn't see any combat or quests or anything like that, but I'm going to assume it's going to be formatted and structured quite a bit like Witcher 3.
I would assume so as well. Like I said, what I need to do is go back and double check what they're using as the canonical ending in the video game world and see where we left things. I'm sure CD Projekt Red will have plenty of comic books and lead ups to The Witcher 4.
Most likely.
All right. Next up, we talked about, I think that's pretty much it for the Summer Game Fest stuff. Like I said, Alex and I will be streaming. Our plan is to stream the Summer Game Fest Friday night, 5:00. Be there a little early, about 4:50. That's when we're going to get started. That is our current running plan, along with the Switch 2 stream, which will probably happen before that on Friday as well at some point. Whatever that might be. Maybe it's just Alex downloading Mario Kart. Who knows? We'll find out together.
Only one way to find out.
Next up, I'll just say for people who are wondering, we are not streaming the Sony stuff, the Microsoft stuff, or the Day of the Devs, or the what's the PC Game Show, or is that what it's called, PC Game Show? Or
I think that's what they still call
Future
it.
Games. But you should join us and join the Discord chat. A lot of people watch them in there together. It's a lot of fun. I was looking through the list. Future Game Show, PC Gaming Show. Those are the other big ones there. All right. We talked about Black Panther and the Black Panther game from EA last week.
Yeah.
And
because that news broke while we were on the show, I think.
Yeah, the shuttering of Cliffhanger and the cancellation of Black Panther happened as we were recording.
And then Jason Schreier is out there with a little more information. Brad, what is Jason saying?
Yeah, like it did not take long. I think we said last week, like, somebody will probably report at some point, more about that game and why it got canceled, and it took like 2 days. The short version about the cancellation is basically that it was in pre-production for a very long time, and EA was looking to cancel games that they felt were not moving fast enough in development, and that this was one of those. There you have it.
Yeah, it kind of in Schreier's reporting here on Bloomberg, that gets rolled up with the Titanfall, or the
Respawn prototype, kind of Titanfall extraction game or whatever that was going to be.
Yeah, stuff along with that. That was not moving as quickly as they would like.
Yeah, this. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I feel like the big thing in this, though, is that it's not just that. Yeah, okay, it's very matter of fact that we were getting rid of some projects that we feel just aren't moving fast enough. But the thing the story points out is that this was a huge surprise to just about everyone that was rank and file at that studio, because not only were they in the process of currently hiring people, they had just hit a milestone in that game that was pretty significant, and they were expecting to move forward.
Right, they had just gotten sign off from management, it sounds like, to they had passed, like you said, a gate, quote unquote, is what they refer to it here. The executives reviewing the game and deciding to keep it going. So clearly this happened, this decision happened outside the normal protocol or chain of command or whatever, right? Like
Yeah.
this was not them failing the typical review process. This was a much higher level, like, hey, we are going to cut projects to tighten the belt for some purpose or another. The other thing is some details in here about what the game is going to be, like particularly coming from veterans of Monolith who effectively oversaw the creation of the Nemesis system. I was very curious to hear some details about this. Quote, for Black Panther, Cliffhanger was building a new system that would expand on the Nemesis system's ideas. The plan was to feature various playable heroes from the comic book universe. How do you pronounce is it T'Challa? Mm-hmm. I've never seen any of the Black Panther stuff. T'Challa, Killmonger, and Shuri, all competing for the mantle of Black Panther, which would grant superhuman strength. Like, that's actually like super fascinating to think that there was no defined Black Panther going into this, that you would like pick a character and have to like earn it.
Mm-hmm.
The player would take control of one of these heroes while the others would become rivals with whom the player could cultivate relationships. Sounds like the Skrull. We're the bad guys here.
It's always the Skrull.
Shape-shifting aliens, right?
Yes.
Is that correct?
With very big chins.
Because this is an open world game, so you need an enemy that you can serialize 10,000 times to fight. But that actually sounds kind of interesting, though. It was like you're basically fighting off a Skrull invasion. Some Skrulls could have been imposters posing as allies. Others might have remembered the player's behavior and acted accordingly, like in Shadow of Mordor.
That's right. Like
that all sounds neat.
Yeah.
Those would sound like really interesting ideas that I would have loved to see executed. But nope. Not happening. So like between this and Wonder Woman both being canceled, like, I mean, this story, this might be where's the line? Like, this might be a little bit of a leap, but I think like Schreier kind of says something along the lines of like, this could spell, the closure may mark an end for big budget games using the Nemesis system or narrative experiments like it. Like, I would hope that's not globally true. It would really be nice to know that other developers might still run with some of these ideas, but
I mean, but again, there's limitations to what those developers can do because the Nemesis system lives in forever patent land now.
Yes, like I definitely thought about that. Like, I'm sure the Cliffhanger people had to thread the needle very carefully to implement these ideas in a non-infringing way, which sucks and continues to suck. But yeah, I would hope there's more stuff like this going on at some point. It would really be sad if this was just the end of that kind of stuff.
Even that like concept, Like,
yes, because like that. I mean, that stuff added so much to those Middle Earth games. Like, those games would have been completely forgettable without it.
It was Black Panther. That's the
Panther.
Black Panther. Black Panther getting canceled. That was a story by Jason Schreier over on Bloomberg. And I think that's going to do it because we pretty much talked about the Nightreign stuff previously. So, like I said before at the top of the news segment, either tight as a drum, these leaks, the container holding these demos and what's going to come out here, or it's just not bursting at the seams quite yet.
Maybe not. I think the big rumor this morning, which I feel like is barely a rumor because I was already expecting it, is Resident Evil 9 getting unveiled this week.
But Capcom's not having their own thing, so it'll just be on a stage somewhere.
I mean, it could absolutely be on the Summer Game Fest stage. I think that is the biggest thing by far. Like that would get more viewers than anything Capcom could do themselves.
Oh, the stage.
Yeah.
Like that thing will have a bajillion viewers, so that is the actual most valuable real estate to debut a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like multiple leakers are saying it will be revealed this week. Like, again, I don't know anything in particular, but I absolutely was expecting that to be the case.
I wonder if some of the Microsoft stuff, like to your point, I wonder if some of the stuff from the Microsoft showcase will have a teaser or something inside of the Summer Games Fest showcase, or they would save it. I think they did that. Boy, my memory's terrible. But I think they did that, and they would say, tune in for more, right?
Yes, that is absolutely the play. Is that like, here's a 30-second teaser. Yeah. Tune in on Sunday for a full reveal type stuff. Like they absolutely could do something like that. But yeah.
So yeah, we'll find out in just a few days here. But that's going to do it for the news for right now. More stuff leaking, Switch 2 stuff, and Summer Game Fest stuff all happening simultaneously. Again, our plans mostly revolve around Friday. Check it out there. We're going to wrap this one up. Coming into a podcast at Nextlander.com, which is our email address, podcast at Nextlander.com. Now, look, in another life, we are just doing a podcast about cars.
I literally was going to come into this and say, like, okay, one of two things needs to happen here.
Mm-hmm.
We either never need to talk about buying a car again, or we just need to become a car podcast. There is no in between.
All right, so here's my pitch.
Yeah.
Car talk.
Okay, what do you envision for this?
Okay.
We talk about cars.
Okay,
right.
like kind of goof around a little bit.
Like a jovial manner?
Yeah, I think we can be a little bit irreverent about it.
Okay.
Can you do like a Boston accent?
Car talk.
Okay, fantastic.
Can we adopt playful stage names that rhyme?
No.
Or that present us all as being related to each other or something?
Can we fake MIT degrees and or knowledge about cars?
I'm already doing it.
Always.
Wait, did they fake MIT degrees?
No. We would have to. They have actual MIT degrees.
Oh, they have actual ones? Okay.
Yeah.
No, I've been faking one for years now.
I think both of them had MIT degrees.
Wow. Okay.
And knowledge about cars. Look, I have talked about my trials and they're not even really
You
trials.
haven't even had a trial yet. You haven't tried to buy a car yet.
No, I have not. My want to buy a new car, and I guess it turns out there are a lot of people out there who have bought, will be buying, or have bought. That's the same thing as bought cars in the near past, in the future, work for cars. We got a lot of feedback, and it was amazing.
There are so many opinions.
Like I'm looking right now, like this is probably the most active thread on the Discord for a podcast episode we've ever had. Like people have opinions about buying cars.
And so I will just, instead of answering all the emails, and I have looked at most of them that have come in and continue to, and also I have been checking that Planes, Trains, and Automobiles thread on our Discord, that channel there. I'm going to say, here's what I'm coming away with. Instead of going through all the emails one by one here, I'm going to say a lot of support. And this is by no means what I'm getting, or this is no means an endorsement of the cars, but a lot of support for the RAV4.
Interesting.
Toyota, baby.
Yep. A lot of people.
Reliable.
And I should mention, I mentioned I wanted a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid, which is a PHEV, a plug-in hybrid. I have seen people express the opinion that a plug-in hybrid might represent the worst of both worlds, right? I have seen people express what I generally feel not having one is that maybe dipping your toe into that EV world and finding out what you want might be a plug-in hybrid's role, right? And to find out that. I have seen a lot of evangelizing for EVs about the lack of maintenance because you don't have an internal combustion engine, no more oil changes, no more spark plugs fouling, no more et cetera, the maintenance on the internal combustion engine, right?
Can I tell you the thing that I saw about EVs in there?
Yeah, give it to me.
That really stopped me in my tracks?
Uh-oh.
Frunk.
A frunk?
I don't think I realized. I must have known at some point that EVs have frunks.
Frunks?
Or front trunks.
Front trunks.
Because there is no engine. There is no engine under the hood. You know, all the drive stuff is under the car, right? So like,
I mean, you get some, right? I think some.
But there is storage space in the front of the car under the hood.
Yeah,
where the combustion engine would usually be.
Yes, I think it depends on the model and the car, but yes.
Yeah, and I think maybe not every car has it. But somebody in the Discord was talking about their frunk being like watertight, with drainage. I think with drainage on it. I think they said. Because the trunk is upholstered and like you know what a trunk is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently the front trunk on there is like you can put like wet, messy stuff in because you can just hose it down and drain it out easily. Okay. Which is pretty rad.
Great.
How watertight is your frunk?
It's
how watertight is your frunk?
No, I've been doing a lot of like crunches and stuff. And my frunk.
Got to tone that frunk.
So RAV4, CRV, a lot in that range there. The Mustang Mach-E has come up as a EV of choice for some folks. I thought they were joking at first, but it seems like that is a popular car.
No, like the recent Ford EV stuff seems to be quite popular. Like the F-150 Lightning also was received pretty well. The Subaru. A lot of fans of the Subaru. I think it's the Forester and the Crosstrek, I think I'm not sure exactly what the model, but Subaru rated very highly for reliability. So now some of this starts getting into, okay, because I had talked about a Volvo and people are like, that can be very expensive to repair. The parts are not as ubiquitous or they're harder to get in the States at least.
And people were saying Subaru and Toyota and some of the other manufacturers easier to repair. Parts are out there, and Subaru apparently has a very high reliability rating as well. People seem to really enjoy it. I got a lot of very specific info for the long torsoed of us out there to be aware of, like is my head going to rub against the ceiling in a RAV4 and a Forester? And a lot of it was like, go check it out. You definitely need to check it out. Some people have
you got to test drive. Got to test drive. I have personally been watching some videos. There are these on YouTube, because of course there are these on YouTube, of people recording their calls with dealers to basically show you how to navigate a call with a dealership and what not to say or what to say. Which is, of course, they have those on YouTube, which I thought were pretty interesting. People have linked me to some others. Boy, oh boy. And then, so all of this, and thank you for everybody. I will continue to absorb this information as I go through. Also, the credits, the federal tax credits for EVs, when I looked them up, apparently they are now, and somebody can correct me or send something to me directly if they want to correct me on this. Seemed like in 2025, they have to be American-made EVs. I don't know if that's changed recently, but that's a short list of things. You would not be surprised to know that Tesla has like 3 or 4 cars on that list. Weird.
Yeah, weird. So I think locally in New Jersey, it's a different tax credit I can get. Not as much. But apparently, what I've also learned, there's a leasing loophole. If you lease an EV, you still might be able to get that $7,500 tax credit through the lease on the EV versus the purchase. This is, again, I am summarizing a lot of the emails we have gotten through here. Leasing loophole, where if you lease, you can get the tax credit, but if you were to buy the car, you would not be able to do it because the dealership is able to, I guess, somehow get that. A thing. A lot of very useful information. I have not decided on what car I am going to get, but I do now have a list of things that we are going to test drive or to try out. The funny thing that I was telling my wife when I was with her in our Prius as we were driving around was, because I don't love driving in New Jersey.
No one does.
I said, would it be weird to go to the dealership and say, and when they're like, would you like to go for a test drive, sir, meaning me, be like, yes, I would. Can you drive me to my house? And then could I switch with you so I could drive locally around my neighborhood? Because that's where I'm most comfortable driving. Because I don't want to drive around on the highways. And they're terrifying in New Jersey.
Will you go to my house with me?
Can you drive me to my home and then we'll switch so I can drive around my block a couple of times in this car?
Incredible. Yes, do this is what I'm saying.
Because I assume anywhere I go to a dealership, they're probably going to be off of a highway or something like that, and it's going to be and look, New Jersey highway driving it's
a whole other thing, man.
It's a whole other thing. So I am ready to go full EV. I am ready to go halfway plug-in hybrid EV. A lot of opinions out there. What I'm not going to get is a full internal combustion engine. That's just
no. I think we're all past that.
Yeah, a lot of good arguments for the EV. I just I kind of want to. I need to know how it fits our world because we're a single car family as well. So I think it would be different if I had another gas hybrid here. And I was like, yeah, let's get an EV. Like we could always use the other car if we need. So we'll see. A lot of great information out there. Also, man, the car market. It's
not good right now.
Or it's just weird. It's just changing and weird. And leases might make sense in a way that I wouldn't have thought before because of the way the technology changes and the rebates you can get from leasing and stuff like that. I'm not saying I'm going to do this or anybody should do this, but if you're going to get an EV, maybe you want to just get it for 3 years and then be able to return it because the technology and the rebates are such, That
is actually a very good point. I think that might have paid off for Will. I think that's what he did because he moved from an older EV to a newer one a couple years ago, and he was able to do that pretty quickly. And there were massive improvements from a 2019 EV to a 2023 one or whatever. Yeah,
so I don't know the technology that much, but range just seems to be improving constantly in the cars and
fast charging, and
fast charging,
number of charging locations, and also how fast they can charge are both also getting better,
and compatibility with chargers. And I think New Jersey, again, some of this I'm just relying on emails information I've got. I think New Jersey just banned certain Tesla chargers because they required you to have an app, and you couldn't just do it at the charger.
Okay.
So I'm not 100% sure. It's a thing I saw somebody mention.
Yeah, an eye-opening moment for me was at the community college that we go to the electronics flea market at, where they do it in the parking lot. Their parking lot is covered with like giant solar cells.
Oh wow!
Over big parts of the parking lot, and they have like pay chargers right there.
Oh, that's cool. See, that's
to plug in and charge while you're there.
So that's the thing I need to start. This is why a plug-in hybrid I thought would be a nice dip my toe in it, because I just need to see in our lifestyle how many places have charging outside, where we drop the kids off, where we go, the pool, the whole thing. But anyway, that's kind of the summary there. Thanks everybody for their continued information there. The other one that was a surprise to me was there's this truck called, I forget, I think it might be, I don't want to get the manufacturer wrong, but the name of the truck was the Maverick. It was a hybrid truck. And the price on it was really very low. I think it might be a Ford, but it was like in the like 30,000s for a hybrid truck, which for a pickup truck, sorry, I should say. It's a smaller bed, it's a smaller truck, but like that's what I would be in the market for just throwing camping gear and stuff in the back of a truck, or snowboards or whatever it is. And I was like, man, well, if we get 2 used cars and they're below this price, would that equal the same as one like fancier car? But then you got to pay the insurance on it, and insurance in Jersey is very expensive.
There are some complications there, yes.
So we'll see. But anyway, that's another great thing that people recommended was like, hey, if you're looking for a truck, this is a smaller, less expensive truck. I had not seen a lot of people talk about that. So
yeah, that looks cool.
Yeah,
it's like it's one of those like mostly cab, less bed.
Yes.
Kinds of pickups.
Yes, because I don't need necessarily. There was a time in my life where I was like, I thought I needed to be able to haul some sheetrock, a full thing of sheetrock or plywood.
Right.
I don't know if I do anymore. I think more what I need is like, oh, if we got this, then maybe we can get a smaller car and use the bigger one for smaller one for local commuting, which would be 80% of the time. And then the other stuff when we have bicycles, snowboards, drums, use this other car.
Do you have time of use electric plan out there available?
No, I don't know if I do. We don't use that, but I don't know if that is available.
Okay. Because that helps if you have an EV quite a bit. If you do have access to that where the electricity is cheaper at night, and then you just wait and plug it in only at night. I
wonder if you'd probably automate that, right? And just like have it turn on.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm assuming you could.
My neighbor has a Tesla and he only charges it at night, so maybe.
I charge my EV at night so I can get the best rate on my electricity bill. Anyway,
this lacks a little bit of the cool factor of the original song, I gotta say.
Okay, well, whatever. It's the cold. It's probably just not coming through.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. So I'm going to say that's probably our email section, because boy, howdy.
We read every single one. We promise.
Car stuff.
It's very cool. Like, again, I am really appreciative. I don't know what I would guess I would just be spending time on Reddits and YouTubes and stuff like that, trying to compile information. It's so nice to get firsthand information from people who are driving these cars, to say what they love about it and what they don't. I have yet to see too many people message me and be like, I fucking hate the car I bought. I bought this thing and I just do not like it.
Wow, not a lot of Cybertruck owners coming to you, huh?
No, I don't think there are. So yeah, we'll see where we wind up. I will update folks when I have more information, especially if I wind up going for a test drive, or more likely my wife winds up going for a test drive with me. Is it weird to bring the whole family for a test drive?
I would think it's not a terrible idea.
Like a family of 4 and everybody just piles in?
Kind of help to see how the family fits in there. Can you test drive without a dealer in the car with you? Will they let you do that?
It may depend on the dealer. I think most won't.
Oh, really? I guess it depends where. Yeah,
I mean, you could also probably leave some kind of collateral in case something weird happens.
A child.
Yeah, like one of the kids.
You stay here, Max.
We need whatever dealer is the size of like a 12-year-old boy. If you can just fill in for Max in this little scenario here, we're good.
The other thing that I again, just because we're kind of eating up all the email stuff here, and we've had a lot of people apparently interested, what I've discovered is a lot of this stuff happens over the phone now, in a way that people, you say the number of the car you saw online for the lot number, like, hey, what's the number of the car? Let me check if it's in stock. Great. can I get and you, I guess what I've seen is you want to get the out the door price, which is the price of the car that you will walk out with after all fees and stuff. And this is just from what people have messaged me, what I've seen in some videos. The dealer will try to get you to come in, right? To come in. But what you want is a price before you even come in so that you can shop around, right? So that you can, this is what it seems like is the deal here. Whether that happens in practice or not, I don't know. Maybe that only happens in the imaginary world of YouTube content creators who make these videos. But I thought this was all happening still face to face inside of a dealership somewhere. And let me go talk to my manager. Oh, they're going to kill me for giving you this price. But apparently you still do get the every car gets window tints and door trim. It gets the Caravella special package, and that's $3,500 more on top of that. And what it seems like to me, I could be wrong here, not a dealer, is that the margins are made on the financing and not the MSRP difference, right? Like they want you to finance that car, which seems like you can go in again. Somebody said to talk to Patrick about this. I haven't yet, so I guess I should, because he recently, I guess, got a car too. But I guess you can go to your bank, kind of secure a rate for a loan, right? Go finance the car, let's say, at a similar rate, or just use the bank's financing. Let's say you go to the dealership and you finance the car, walk out, get a good deal, and then just pay it off. As long as when the financing you didn't get a penalty for early payment, right? So you can be like, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll finance it. Thanks for the great rate, and then just pay it off from the bank or whatever later on, which is, the big difference with a lease is you cannot do that in that early. So I don't know.
Does that mean a dealer will just stop if you did have the cash, if you're a person that had just saved for years and had will a dealer try everything they can to stop you from just paying in cash outright?
I don't know if it's that or that you just won't get as good. You won't have as much negotiating power.
Yeah, sure.
Because, it sounded to me like in the financing is when you start being able to negotiate on things like fees and all that stuff, because they expect to make some money back on the financing of it. I don't know. That's a thing where my wife and I are terrible consumers constantly. We're not confrontational. We will just be like, whatever. Yes, let's just be done. What's an extra $2,000 on top of $30,000 already, right? We're already here. Let's just walk out. Instead of hands in my pockets, I'll be like, I'll see you in hell, Toyota. I don't know. We're going to wind up with 7 cars.
Yep. I know the feeling.
That's what I'm saying. All right. Podcast@nextlander.com for more emails. Thanks again to everybody for their car emails. And also thanks for everybody over on I think it's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles channel on our Discord for talking there. And also, if you're in that channel, or if you're sending emails, it does help if you @ me in the channel, or if you just put my name in the email so that I can see it in the subject of the email, so I can see it very clearly there. I think that's going to do it for the show. Unless you guys want to talk about anything else. It really was a lot of car emails.
Really was.
And again, thanks to everybody. Let's freak out about the Watchcast.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Freak out about Star Trek for a minute.
Yeah. Alex, what's going on in Star Trek world?
Star Trek summer has begun. We have begun our journey into season 2 of Star Trek, the original series. We are doing 2 episodes at a time. The first 2 are up for our patrons right now. And we got a couple of bangers coming up for next week as well.
I'm very excited.
I watched episode 3. It is some Star Trek-ass Star Trek.
Oh, nice.
In many different ways.
Seems like season 2 pretty well thought of generally.
Yeah. Couple of clunkers in there, but by and large, I think the most beloved season of this particular series.
I have, okay. This might not be the best question for you guys, and maybe this is a general question for the audience, but once there are 3 seasons of Star Trek, is that right?
3, yes.
Okay. Of original Star Trek.
Yeah.
Once we make it through these 3 seasons, and keep in mind, I have not seen pretty much anything out and beyond, except for some of the movies. Can I watch Lower Decks? Or is it Lower Decks? Upper Decks? What's the
Lower Decks is
That's definitely Lower Decks.
It's definitely Lower Decks. Upper Decks watch something else?
Can I watch Lower Decks, or do I need more Star Trek knowledge? Because people are saying there's a lot of fun references in there.
There is. So I actually had a conversation with someone in our Discord about this. I was asking, is this show canon? And apparently it is.
Interesting.
So I would say there is certainly a number of references you will be able to get from what I've seen of Lower Decks. I have not watched the entire series. There's also a lot of Next Gen and DS9 and Voyager and everything else in there too.
Okay, so I will probably just get my percentage of Star Trek that I have put in.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll get out what you put in.
All right. Well, that's a big investment then.
We have some work to do.
Yeah, because it's somebody, I think I saw even in our Discord, somebody mentioned something about we watched episode 1 and 2, which had a reference to like the would-be gods, right? The Greek gods, and that there was a reference in the Lower Decks to that stuff.
Yes, they I don't know if they retconned the ending or if they decided to just make a reference to the ending that was not used, but apparently the granddaughter of Apollo shows up in Lower Decks at one point and just is a demigod.
That's amazing.
In Starfleet.
That's amazing. See, that's the kind of stuff I want to see, but but I don't want to miss out on all the other references from the other stuff. All right, so that's going on with the Watchcast Star Trek Summer. We are doing 2 episodes, 2 Star Trek episodes per Watchcast episode. If you're trying to keep up,
and it's just in release order, so we're not doing anything too funky there.
And like we said previously, we I don't know if I did mention it previously. We went back into Fortnite with Brad Shoemaker and Will Smith to show off all the Star Wars nonsense that you have acquired and encountered there.
That's right. I maxed the battle pass.
I
got everything.
I gotta say, maybe it was better, maybe it was not. That Darth Vader thing was lame.
Yeah, it was.
What, the AI Darth Vader?
Yeah,
that's stupid.
Like I said, it was funnier the first few days before they put all the limits on it, and not because of the racism. And the slurs.
But
because he would just answer a much wider range of questions that he now just shut. Even like just very earnest Star Wars questions that you ask him.
Yeah.
Like he just shuts down now that he would address before. I mean, it's all stupid, but
I think I thought it would be funnier stupid. But it was fun seeing you guys show off your Star Wars.
That Jar Jar stuff was that was pretty funny.
Well, great news. It sounds like Epic is going all in on this AI shit going forward. So we'll get many more opportunities to experience dumbass shit like this.
I'm ready to.
Yes.
I'm ready to find out what the next Fortnite season is going to be about.
Yes, you are.
I'm curious.
Yes, you are.
You've heard it here first, folks. He's too far gone. We can't save him.
I might not play any of it, or I might play all of it. I don't know.
Is
this your new Dota?
No, because this is very easy to dip in and out of whenever you feel like it and have a good time and move on.
What do you want it to be?
I don't know. Like Sub-Zero was like literally in the season before this. Like,
how about G.I. Joe?
If a Sub-Zero tier character were presented to me as an unlockable, would I level for it? Possibly. G.I. Joe, I don't know. Depends on who and like how. Also, because
Snake Eyes, that's a top tier battle pass. Storm Shadow.
The game has some really exceptional cell shading. I'm going to say.
And
if it were full on like 80s Storm Shadow or Snake Eyes or you name it, if I could unlock a battle android trooper.
Yes.
Well, did those ever show up in the cartoon? I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure they got blown up.
Yeah. But just the first version, right? The second one was.
What's the black and yellow one? That's the first version?
The second one was more black and orange, I think.
Oh, okay.
I guess it was always the first one, I guess. Anyway, yes. Like if I could get a bat, if I could get a good looking cell shaded bat as my Fortnite character. 100% I would grind that battle pass for that.
I would I bet he'd be pretty early on, but I'd like a shipwreck. Just give me a shipwreck with a parrot on a shoulder.
Yeah. Like, so I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the way the Star Wars season has been is kind of an anomaly where the whole battle pass is Star Wars themed. I get the impression that it's more like a bunch of generic whatever items that have nothing to do with anything, and then like a character you want at the top, which is a little harder to swallow.
Because the whole world was Star Wars.
Yes, the whole map is Star Wars did out, and like the battle pass. The battle pass was just full of. I got like 6 or 8 different cool little things. Like I got the fucking Senate pod as my parachute.
Weirdos.
Yeah.
So you can check that out. That was on Monday. And then on Tuesday, Alex, Abby, and I went back into a bit of Who is Abby? That game seemed a little bit longer than I was expecting. And then we played some Date Everything. So you can check that out from Tuesday. Like I said before, we went through the demo of that game. We've got Never Been a Better podcast from last month still up there, and guess what? They're all up there. Every episode still up on the Patreon, waiting for you to check it out. We're going to have a Planorama going up this week where you can see us go through our picks for the Switch optimization patches. Very exciting time in Planorama history. What's getting optimized for the Switch and what's not. It's not exhaustive, but we do have quite a bit of stuff in there. That's over on the Patreon. The Ramblecast over on the Patreon as well. You can hear my great speech I gave that related ethics and life to video games. That's on the Ramblecast. All this over at patreon.com/Nextlander, where you can find a tier that is right for you. There are many tiers there. I'm sure there's a good fit in there somewhere, but there is one tier that gets their names read on this here show, and it's the Mysterious Benefactors tier, and I am going to read those names for you right now with this amazing voice. This is
Give
what
it the
you
gravitas
that it deserves. Our Mysterious Benefactors for this week are Sean Miller, Zach is a thirsty suitor, RRE, Alpha Rhythm, Infelicitous Rips, David L, Kelly F, Brian Lucier, Skywarp, Jason Grimm, John Hubbard, NXL Retirement Fund, Evan Cook, Mark Wilhelm, Jerry Lee. Deirdre declares a happy Pride Month. Gary Pejke, Robert Fisher, Bunny Meme, Jad Rita, Statics, Brian Murphy, Randy Duax, Randy Alderson, Andrew Tiebkin, Alex Wu, It Me JP, Edward Chick, Andrew Slosky, Steve Lynn, Matthew Herrig, David Campos, and Tyler Treese. Those are our Mysterious Benefactors for this week, and thanks to them and thanks to everyone who has supported us. Patreon.com/Nextlander. Check it out. You're gonna love it.
True. We guarantee it.
No, we don't. No, we don't. You can't say that.
I guarantee.
I guarantee.
I guarantee.
We strongly endorse it.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out. The other thing I'll say is if you want to go to games.nextlander.com, I think that's the URL, and check out the events thing, that IGDB data is all pulled into that, and you can check out all the events for June.
That does work.
That does work. I need to redo that site at some point. I've been spending a lot of time redoing some other stuff. At some point, I will redo it so that you can get direct URLs to all the games. I made it so you can do it for the events. I should do it for the games as well. But anyway, you can check that out to see a big list of all the showcases. And then as they happen, IGDB actually pulls their videos that were in there. And you can check out all of the games that were shown there in one handy place. Let's just say pretty useful if you're doing a podcast that talks about a lot of showcases and games that were shown. So check that out if you'd like. It's free to check out. Games.nextlander.com. Who says we don't have a website? Who says it?
That's right.
It's right there.
We got subdomains.
Subdomains.
Pointing to multiple websites.
Put subdomain in the battle pass.
What else can we come up with to make websites out of?
Everything.
What else we got? What else .nextlander.com do we have?
Everything. What do we have already? And people just don't even know. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Game of the Year list is already up there. Game of the Year 2025.nextlander.com is already there. You don't even know. We've already decided it. All right, folks, that's going to do it for our show. Coming up, like I said, I'll repeat it for the billionth time here, but on Friday, that's going to probably be our Switch 2 stream. That's what it's looking like. If it happens early on Thursday, we might do it. We have some other recordings we need to do on Thursday as well, but if it comes in at the right time, we might just drop in for some Switch 2 on Thursday, but it's looking like Friday. And then later on Friday, we'll be doing our Summer Game Fest stream. Alex and I will be. Brad will be flying out to Los Angeles to go check out the in-person games, and we'll be back next week to talk about whatever you can talk about. Who knows? Who knows what those embargoes are like?
We shall see.
They were not so bad last time, right?
There were a few. 2 or 3 games that were embargoed for a couple weeks afterwards, but I think most stuff was. They did have like a blanket embargo that was after the event, which was nice, actually.
Yeah. Right, so people can get their write-ups. And stuff,
so people didn't have to like run back and try to cover stuff that night after they saw it.
And you might be also. This was funny. I asked Abby this question. She was unsure what she could talk about, so I'm going to put you on the spot and ask about it too.
I already know what you're going to ask, and I have no idea. I have not heard a word about what I should or should not say.
Okay, great. So if people want to infer that from the same question I asked Abby, you're going to have to go follow the entire Nextlander universe of and piece it all back together again. We'll have a good time there, Brad.
Well, thank you.
Enjoy. And safe travels, obviously.
Thank you.
Alex, I will see you again on Friday for whatever we wind up doing.
I mean, definitely opening night live, but also,
that's that's Game Fest. That's what I learned.
Look, that's Gamescom.
Gamescom.
That's
oh, Jesus. Let's get out of here.
It's the same shit. Who gives a fuck? All right.
Yeah,
Look, Keely,
Look.
you can do your cross branding thing. I don't care. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Anyway, we're doing that. And then if we get a Switch, we'll do a Switch thing.
That's right. I think that's it. Panorama, I mentioned that. Yes, that should be going up later this week as well.
Content.
Oh, and I think there is a Mike and Vinny Destroy the World, the Warhammer 40K. Gosh, there's another war in there. My brain. Oh, Total War Warhammer 40K. That's what it is. Boy, my brain is just melting today. You should check that out. That's also on the Patreon. So much stuff.
Yeah.
A plethora of stuff. All right. That's going to do it for the show. Thank you, Alex Navarro.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad Shoemaker.
Thank you.
And we'll be back the next time we have a podcast. We will be on the other side of all of this stuff. So I can't wait to check in with you guys. And we'll see how it all went. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Be safe out there. Be good out there. And we'll see you next week.